So we should be live now. So we are live. What's so you trying to reach you feel Maccabi, no?
You talking to me?
I'm getting a lot of background noise. Are you doing some work? No?
No, I was trying to put my paper behind my stuff, and
Okay.
the noise is too loud. Just let me know.
No, it's all right now. It's okay. All right, we are live. Alhamdulillah. We got from that door. Close that door. Get out of there. Alhamdulillah. I mean, we are live once again. And how about Obi? I'm gonna let me see if I can get my national anthem. I like national anthem. You don't mind, right? I say you don't mind me playing my national anthem and to play, right?
No, I don't mind, but just make sure you play Sister Hawa's music.
Oh, I got that. Yeah, definitely. Yep, I got that. How about let's go? Let me see if I can get my anthem to play.
I'm back with victory for our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. Take our brother, we are voting. Our corner. Uncle Ente, we are voting. Our corner. For you empowerment, we are voting. Our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. That's a driver, we are voting. Our corner. Community people, we are voting. Our corner. For you empowerment, we are voting. Our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. That's a driver, we are voting. Our corner. Community people, we are voting. Our corner. For accountability, we are voting. Our corner.
Thank you.
All right. You know, I think I had a better success with the way I set it up on Zoom than this, but anyway, I'm in love with this one for now, so we'll keep it here. Greetings to you, Obe Bamba. Greetings to all of our listeners and will-be listeners. I know definitely we are going to have a lot more listeners than we have right now. And for the few of you who have already joined us, we want to ask you a big favor. Please go ahead and share the show if you are able to. You know, this is a new thing about this new way of having talk show, where part of it has to be relied upon your viewers. So I mean, I don't mean to put you to work, but just do us a favor. Go ahead and share the show. We can do the same so that we can have maximum. Are you getting an echo from me, Obi? Are you hearing me fine?
Yeah, I'm hearing you fine. I'm hearing you fine.
Right. If you start getting echo, let me know. I got my headphone here. I can pull a headphone. Right now, I'm just using the open mic. Yeah. So yeah, please help us. Do us a favor. Go ahead and share the show, and then hopefully we look forward to having a great discussion. Obviously, today is Sunday, September 13, and the year 2020 still. It's still 2020, as much as many of us want to see this year over. Still here, still around, and the remaining part of the year, though, it appears that there are too many elections for the remaining part of 2020. You got FELMAUSA election coming up in just 2 weeks, and then FELMAUSA election is not just the executive election anymore. It's not just the presidential election. We're also going to be having a pro-election, we are told. And obviously, after that, we have the general United States election. So it's election all over, everywhere you turn. Even in December, it's election in December, right? So just election. So you can't escape the election conversation, right?
Yeah.
So that being said, though, the election that is most paramount to us right now as a community is the immediate impending one, the one that's coming up in just 2 weeks. Obviously, I'm referencing the election that is later between Sister Hawa Kone and Sister Fatima Fofana. I mean, you're probably wondering, as to what else there is to be said about this upcoming election that hasn't been said yet. You know, like because we've said so much about this election. I'm having a show. So you know, we've had 2 debates, and the issue is all over the place. Surprise of many community, who are stakeholders. The 2 first-time, 2 female campaign, has turned out to be just as unsavour as we've seen, or even more unsavour as we've seen in the past, amongst men. Whatever the behind that, I don't know. Maybe I don't. But the fact remains, the elections are here. The election will go on as planned. So we are delighted to play host to Team Hawa Kone. I want to say one last time, I don't think we're going to have this privilege again, given the fact that the election is already here. So this is truly a remarkable, privilege that we have to tap into the mindset of Hawa Kone campaign. That we walk into the election in just 2 weeks. You look good. You look beautiful. Yeah, you all look beautiful. Leave me alone. The family, your sister wanted to look good.
No, it's okay. Mr. Kumar, try to use the earpiece a little bit. I want to see the difference. I want to see the difference. Okay,
I'll try that. So, I don't know why. He usually doesn't do this. So, so this is why we are very much humble and extremely delighted to play host to Spokesman Bamba. Interestingly, we have now hosted him on behalf of the Hawa campaign, not since the campaign started. Is it better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Any better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, all right. Whatever works, yeah.
Yeah, that's far better because it's not like echoing in the background. That's far better. Very much.
I don't know why the echo is coming from. Usually it doesn't echo like that. So, but anyway, so we have Spokesman Obe Bamba, aka who happens. I'm still getting this echo. I don't know. Let me see here. Okay, hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, I can hear you. It's just the echo that comes with it. I don't know where that's coming from. Yeah, that's normally not the case. But anyway, we'll figure that out. And don't have. Do you have another device open by you, side you?
No, unless you want me to use my headset so we can see how that works.
No. I'm not getting any feedback from you when you speak. I'm getting you loud and clear. You're good. You're
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah, let's just go ahead. Whatever it is, we'll figure it out along the way, somewhere down the road. So, Obe Bamba needs no introduction in our community. I know most of you would agree with that. Besides being the Secretary General, the City Secretary of FELMAUSA Board of Directors, he also happens to be the spokesperson for Team Hawa Spokesman campaign. And just for the record, I have availed my platform time and again to any and every candidate who desires to appear. As a matter of fact, right after our first debate, I personally desire and reach out to the two sisters to invite them to a one-on-one with me, Larry King style. Thankfully, Hawa Kroma took advantage of it right away. She came and did so. Many of you remember. Sister Tuma was going to get back to me, but to this date, I'm still waiting to hear from her. She didn't get back to me about that. That's fine. There are several other outlets, several other hosts, several other talk shows. So wherever you can get a message across, that's just the point. So I invited Obe here today to come and just tell us, with just 2 weeks to the campaign, I want to know, Brother Bamba, that good afternoon to you and welcome to the Liberia Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show.
Thank you.
Okay. So without further delay, if you will, I don't know if you have a prepared opening remark, but if you do, you can also add this. I just want to know. So where do you stand now? Where does your campaign stand with just 2 weeks to the election? Are you still confident of winning this election? If so, how and why? From where do you get this confidence?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh to you and our viewers out there. I just want to say that it is a privilege, it's an honor to be on your show, especially the Zoom. This one, I have never been on this show with you before. With the audio, yes, I've been there several times, but with this one, this is my first appearance, and I want to tell you thank you very much for giving us the Team Hawa campaign the opportunity to speak twice. At least the first time was the candidate, and this is the last time for the campaign through me. So we are honored and we are thankful to you, and we want to say thank you to you for all the works that you have been doing in this community. Look in your local chapter and at the federal level, and even hosting shows upon shows. Since LDF was created, you have had the opportunity to bring a lot of high-profile personalities from around the world, including Liberia. One of them was the Professor Alhaji G.V. Kroma, Senator Groupie, and so many other people from Liberia.
Taylor, Dr. Sawyer,
Taylor, so many of them, so that's an honor. And I don't think any show in the diaspora can match your record. So I want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
But if I have to give an intro, I would like to speak a little bit because this is my chance without interruption. The intro is my chance to say something without interruption or any interjection. First of all, I want to appeal to the community that this is an election. And these elections are going to come and go. But we're going to stay here as brothers and sisters. There are a lot of stigma people who put on each other just for political expediency. But the Hawa Kroma campaign is not involved in such behavior. We do not do that. And the campaign speaks through me. And as many of you may know me in this community, I'm not saying I'm a perfect guy, but I'm a family-oriented person. I respect everybody. And that respect, I do not want you or any one of us to take advantage of that respect. My friendship with you is a friendship that I cherish. But if you decide to step out of line, to downgrade that friendship, then automatically I will definitely respond or react to you. Most recently, we saw that with Honorable Mohammed Kroma from Liberia, the Deputy Minister for Presidential Affairs, for Logistics, if I'm right. Honorable Kroma was engaged in threatening one of our supporters, Honorable Sayo Swa Dukle from Liberia, after he expressed his respect and his admiration for Tim Hawa and criticized the Tuma campaign. And Mr. Kroma went on to call Mr. Dukle and threaten him with an arrest warrant. That was recorded in audio. That conversation was recorded on audio, and that audio is in the community. And the campaign had a responsibility, especially Sister Hawa had a responsibility to make a statement the way she felt fit. Because the first instinct of any mother, if you see somebody, a child, I'm not saying Mr. Dukle is a child because many of you think he's a child, but he's not a child. But he presented himself to her as a child, so she took him as it is and responded the way she did. When he was threatening, when he was shivering, when he called her and told her about Mr. Kroma's threat towards him, she tried to downplay it, but when she listened to his voice, he was shivering, so she felt that she had to put it in the public limelight. And that's exactly what she did. And she called me and told me about it, and I got the audio, I listened to the audio, and this young man was scared, and Mr. Kroma was yelling at the top of his lungs, threatening him with arrest warrant. So the campaign convened a meeting to respond to Mr. Kroma's threat towards Mr. Dukle. And that's exactly what we did when we went into that meeting. I have to say, 99% of the attendees at that meeting wanted us to respond. Only one person had little qualms. Not qualms because he didn't believe the audio existed. He had a qualm because he did not want us to respond to Mr. Kroma, looking at him as one of the most high-profile individuals in our community, especially in Liberia and also in the diaspora, because this guy served as a VPA for the Dukle administration. But some of us oppose that because we believe Mr. Kroma should have looked at his status in the community and not get involved in that kind of harassment, in that kind of harassing situation. And what many of you don't understand is that you don't have to like me, I don't have to like you. But we have to respect each other. Mr. Kroma, I can tell you, I have a relationship with him, I must say. Number one, the young lady that he's married to is my little sister. Not little sister by blood, but she's my little sister. And that's why he referred to me as a brother-in-law. That young lady grew up in our hair in Jakarta. That passed. That's one relationship. The second relationship, despite the FELMAUSA relationship, Mr. Kroma, my senior brother in Jakarta and Liberia. I remember last year, Mr. Kroma came to me and said, Brother Obi, I said, yes. He said, I want you to thank your brother for me. I said, why? He said, because this guy is helping me to run my campaign in Monrovia for district number 2. My biological brother, the man who left the breast and I took it. I said, really? He said, yes. I called my brother and told him, I said, Mr. Kroma is grateful for you helping him to run his campaign in district 2. That's a relationship.
Indeed.
I had a family issue I had a family issue. The first person I called was Mr. Kroma. I called him in Liberia. I said, there's a problem in my yard in Liberia. Do you have time to go there and see if you can solve the problem? He said, okay. He said, yes. But I'm in Kakata right now. I'm going to be going over there. And as soon as he came from Kakata, he went there. And when he went there, this my brother who was running his campaign and his wife had some problem, a family problem. And Mr. Krumah told me that this guy, do you know that we are somehow interconnected, marriage-wise? Because the lady that your brother is married to, I don't know, her aunt from the mother's side is married to my uncle or something like that. But there's some marriage between them. So that is another relationship. So I was very disappointed that Mr. Krumah will go as far as threatening our supporter without even getting to me for whatever, if he had any problem, if he had any issue with the campaign. He never did that. And the first thing I did when the information came out was that I'm going to take the phone and call Mr. Krumah first. I pick up the phone, I call the brother. He said he was somewhere, a lot of people were there, he's going to call me back. I said, okay. He called me back, he didn't get me. I called him back, I didn't get him. He called me back, we spoke briefly for less than 2 minutes. I said, Mr. Krumah, why did you do what you did? And he went ballistic. Why are you accusing me? Yeah, you didn't even ask me. I didn't do nothing. Blah, blah, blah. You think it's, he started talking a lot of stuff. Okay, so I just had it quiet because I already had the evidence in my hand. And he's still asking a lot. He wanted me to ask him some police question. He went off. So I said, okay. He said, are you there? Because I was so quiet on the phone. He said, are you there? I said, yes, I am. He said, okay, let me call you back. He hung up. And when he hung up, he never called me back. And I wanted to have a conversation with him before we went to the meeting. Maybe, if the evidence was already there. So what happened when we got to, he never called me back. When we got to the meeting, we decided as a campaign to write a statement. And that statement was written. And we don't regret writing that statement because it's our responsibility to make sure our people are protected. They should be, Mr. Duple has a right to free speech in the world. And that free speech must be respected. But what's disappointing about Mr. Krumah is that the group calling themselves Kaye Katoe, those guys in Europe, who have been calling, insulting you, Mr. Krumah, insulting Bronleo, insulting the chairman of the National Board of Directors of FELMAUSA, insulting me, insulting Borolai, insulting Hawa herself, insulting other people. That group, the brother in that group, Ochiko Krumah, is connected, is a family member of Mr. Krumah. And Mr. Krumah is having a conversation with him, and he knows that those kind of insults are going on in the community. I was appalled as to why he did not ask them to stop. These are people that you have established a relationship with for more than almost 10 years. Why will you unleash your brothers to vent out his diatribes against these people? That's very disappointing. So when we read a position statement, why are you mad? Why are you disappointed? Mr. Krumah is not better than any of us. I don't care if he's a government official. He being a government official makes him more dangerous than if he's not a government official. That's what you have to understand. Because being a government official and issuing threat, you have the will, you have the capability, you have the capacity to do it. And that's what we want to stop. We want free speech to be respected in this community. I myself here have been insulted and denigrated by many of you guys. I don't hold anything against you guys because that is your right to free speech. The way you think about me is your choice, but I still have my relationship with you. But don't say because somebody is your friend, so because you can be my friend. But if you step out of line, if you don't respect that friendship, I'm not going to respect that friendship. And that's exactly what I did. And I don't care whether Mr. Krumah likes it or not, or his supporters like it or not. I don't care. Okay. So I just want you guys to understand our posture. And if you want to have a conversation about it anytime, we can have a conversation about it. My brother, my big brother, and I talked 2 days ago. I did not tell him anything about what transpired between me and Mr. Krumah. Because you know what? I try to take my family out of my political life. I got 12 brothers. I'm on Facebook. None of you can say any of Obe brothers has come on here and defended him. It never happened. Because why? That's not my style. I don't get family involved in my political affairs. Because when you and I are settling our differences, they're not going to be there. Whatever relationship Mr. Krumah has with my brother, he has it. And I talked to him 3 days ago. We just talked about different family matter. And I thought sure that he was calling me about Mr. Kruma's issue, but unfortunately he did not call. He did not talk about it. So I didn't talk about it. So I knew that he did not talk to my brother about it. And that was all, that was it. So none of you are closer to Mr. Kruma than me. I want you to understand that. And our campaign will do what it can do to protect itself, win or lose. Thank you, Mr. Kruma.
Whoa, no, geez, well, that was quite an opening remark. I tell you what, I think on the second thought, I was just wondering, I think I ought to charge Team Hawa for the advertisement, the free advertisement, the corner thing we play from the start of the show, and also for that message. There was need to pay for that message delivery. I think so. But anyway, so thank you, Brother Obe Bamba, for your opening remark. And again, it is always a pleasure, pleasing pleasure for that matter, to thank our listening audience, because without them, we'll have no reason to be here. So we are delighted you are here. You are here because we are here. We are here because you are here. So that let's go right into the campaign then. So without clarification being made, I'd asked you a question for the start earlier. I said, so there's just 2 weeks, exactly 14 days to the election, if my math is right, looking at my calendar. So where does your campaign stand as of right now? How confident are you? Are you still hopeful of winning these elections? If so, how?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Mr. Kruma. You know, politically, it's always good to keep hope alive.
Okay.
This is a very tough campaign, I must say, just as it was last year.
Right.
And we are not taking anything lightly when it comes to get delegates and winning this election. And I just want people to understand that our purpose into the campaign, into this race, is not for any personal gains.
Okay.
It is for the good of the community. You can say whatever you want to say about Sister Hawa. You know very well she is the one who is capable of taking this federation to the next level.
Okay.
And we want you to go to the pool and vote with your conscience. Not because somebody paid $3,000 to send a whole state to the convention, makes the person qualified to lead the federation. No, that doesn't make the person qualified to lead the federation. That person was tested. They have no record. No record. Sister Tuma is a young lady that I do admire. I must tell you that. She's free-handed. I can say that. And, no matter how you hit Mr. Rabbit, you must admit that Mr. Rabbit can really run. And he's free-handed, just as Hawa is free-handed too. But that still does not give her the qualification to lead this federation. She was given a chance to lead this federation for 2 consecutive years as the treasurer for this federation. She neglected that post. It's not a myth. It's not anything that we're creating. She neglected it. And that sent us back into serious turmoil, political turmoil. She was a contributing factor to that. But let me not dwell on her, because it will be your choice to pick between the two. But I want to speak to you directly about some of the achievements of my candidate for the 1 year that she's been in office as a councilwoman. I had to jot this down. I had to write this down because I didn't want to forget. The first thing she did, she was able to control the financial records of the federation. That's number one thing she did. Control the financial record of the federation. And she's been the only person over finance that was able to submit on-time financial report and monthly bank statements.
Okay.
With no question coming from a single member of the board or the general membership of the board calling it into question. They never happen. Every time the financial report comes in, we just look at it, let it go. Mr. Kruma, you serve on the board. If Allah call me to book and say, no, Mr. Bamba, that happy. That young lady, the financial report is messed up. She did that. And because finances have been one of the financial issue has been one of the problems in FELMAUSA, stabilizing that was the first thing that she did. And since we have not had that problem in 1 year time, that was a very good thing for us. And she was also able to straighten the Federation financial record with the IRS, as well as the record with the banks. She did that in the scope of the time, that she's been they have been in power since the 2019 Atlanta Convention. She straightened the record because she had to do that because we could not, at some point, the bank would not allow us to open an account. But because and then she had to work with the bank, she even had to go for a class, a session with the bank to make sure that she understands. Because the people felt that the Federation was fiscally irresponsible. So anybody had to open a bank account, they had to give you a class. They had to give you a section so you can listen and try to manage the Federation's finances. So she did that, and we all know that.
Okay.
And then these are her achievements. And I want you to give me just a few minutes. Let me outline things so people can know. Besides, take finance out of FEMAUSA's fight. What have we been fighting for? If you minus finance, what have we been fighting for? Mr. Krumah? You don't have to answer that.
Finance has been the center of it. Yeah.
It's always at the center of it.
Yeah.
And many of you know that the Federation financial record was somehow blemished by the fact that the Federation had 2 presidents from 2017. 2017, the Federation financial record was blemished. Imagine from 2017 and 2017 we had 2 presidents for FEMAUSA. Some of you don't know that we had 2 presidents in FEMAUSA, even after President Mamadi Cissé won the presidency of the Federation in 2017 Minnesota. We had 2 presidents. Musa Fofana was one of the presidents, and he was the legitimate president of FEMAUSA. Mamadi Cissé was a pseudo president of FEMAUSA.
Seriously?
Why? Seriously. Why? Because they hijacked the Federation's document and legitimized themselves with it, thereby blinding themselves to the legal process, which was the electoral process that brought Mamadi Cissé to power. So all that thing we were doing all along in 2017, Mamadi Cissé was not president of FEMAUSA. He was not a legitimate president of FEMAUSA.
Legally, yeah.
Yeah, he was not a legitimate president legally. He was not a legitimate president of FEMAUSA. Musa Fofana was.
Okay.
And Musa Fofana was the vice president for administration under Mamadi Cissé. Okay. Why? Because they hijacked the Federation stuff. And then due to that, all the taxes of the Federation were being filed by Musa Fofana and his group, the 6th breakaway chapter.
Even though Mamadi was the duly elected president.
Even though Mamadi was a legitimate president. Mamadi filed the 2016 to 2017 taxes for the Federation.
Okay.
And he filed the 2017 to 2018 taxes for the Federation. Brother Wata Musa Kamara from North Dakota. It's not an allegation. I can send you that information so you can have it. If anybody challenges that, if they want you to put it on the screen, you can put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Brother Wata Musa Kamara is the one that filed for Musa 2017, 2018 taxes. Mamadi was still in power. Guess who filed the
why wasn't President Cissé concerned about that? Did he try to file taxes that came upon some stumbling block and then try to investigate as to why who might have filed the taxes? The President Cissé know about this?
I'm quite sure President Cissé did not know about it. You know why? Because you got 2 years to 3 years to file the taxes.
Okay.
So that's the reason why President Cissé filed the 2016 to 2017 taxes. That should have been done with President Sekou Kene. You understand? So when he came to power, his first year in power, he had to file the previous tax. President Kene did not have to file the 2016 taxes. He could have, but he didn't. He was not compelled to do so. So President Cissé had to file the 2016, 2017 taxes. And then, so President Cissé was supposed to file the 2017 to 2018, but instead, But because it was not required for him to do it at that time, because you can wait for 2 years and file the taxes. So he wasn't actually paying attention to the 2017, 2018 taxes. Wata Musa Kamara instead filed the taxes for the Federation in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And you know as well as I know, FELMAUSA has never elected any president from North Dakota.
Of course not, no.
So why would he file the taxes? So he filed the 2017, 2018 taxes. So after that, the 2018, 2019, 2017 rather, 2018 to 2019 taxes were filed by an individual from the great state of Washington, D.C. Okay, and for me, if you ask me who you think did that, I would say it's President Abraham Bellete. You know why I would say that? People, if I just stop there, and people will say, "Oh, he's accusing the man of blind accusation." No, it's not. President Abraham Bellete went on the Chapter Leaders Forum and volunteered to President Cisse, asking him to, "Oh, Mr. President," the president said, "If you want to, if you're having problems filing the 2018 to 2019 taxes, please let me know." Seriously. So it makes him, it puts him at the top of my list.
A prime target.
A prime suspect.
A prime suspect, right? Excuse me. Yeah.
Because you're not the president. So why are you volunteering? And we have already identified somebody from your inner circle who filed the 2017, 2018 taxes for Grand Forks, and then you volunteering that you want to tell the city president has a problem, or the former president has a problem with the filing the taxes for 2018 to 2019, and you can help him out, and you were just brought in after 2 years going rogue, and you volunteering that you're going to file the 2018 to 2019 taxes. So individually, personally, for me, I think Mr. Bellete is a problem.
But Obi, quickly though. So whether it's the taxes filed by Wata Musa, Kamara, or the one allegedly filed by our friend and brother Abraham Bellete, both of those taxes that were filed, if in fact we found out that they were filed under the authorization of the sitting president, then that makes it okay, right? Because we have not found out yet whether Cisse is the one who authorized Wata Musa to file, authorized Abraham. I'm just saying though, because the president does not necessarily have to do them himself. If he designated them to do it, then they will be fine. Is that correct?
If he designated them to do it, but that was the.
No, I'm just saying.
Hey, look at the timing. Look at the timing. The time that was. Mohammed Musa Fofana already has a group calling themselves the Musa, and those guys who filed the taxes identify themselves with Musa Fofana. So the money will not even add up. So it can't be President asking these guys to file the taxes. And guess who had to clear that nonsense out? Hawa Spokesman. She had to deal with the IRS to straighten that up. So that means the legitimate name that will be sent, let's say we go to the pool and one of these young ladies won the election, that name will be ordered to the IRS as a legitimate person that will be able to file the taxes for this federation, because the IEN number is there. It's the individual number, the IEN number rather. So these guys, if Hawa didn't straighten these things up, we're going to have multiple individuals filing taxes for the federation. And
so your critics will say that kudos to Hawa that she's able to correct those things, but she was unable to do so because she was given a chance to serve as an interim leader. Had Fatuma been given the same opportunity to sit on the council, she too would have done exactly, if not more, than what Hawa has done. That's what your critics would say. What do you say?
Well, they will say that, but it would be funny, because this is a company. Well, the reason is this is a young lady that was tested and she failed.
Okay.
She was tested and she failed. 2 years. 35,000 was questioned on her authority as the Treasury Secretary for FELMAUSA. 31,500 rather. All of that, when you did all the equation, 15,000 was not accounted for.
Okay.
When she said she had no knowledge. Multiple times she came on and said she didn't have knowledge of this, she didn't have knowledge of that. But we are puzzled as to why you're going to be serving on as a treasurer and of this federation, and you don't know what money comes in and what money goes out. That's the first class of it. That's the first class of being irresponsible. Fiscally irresponsible. I must add that. Because when people say these things, people think that people are insulting people, but the act is just what it is. There's no other way to get my way around that.
Right. So just to be clear, so today, as of today, this Sunday, September 13, 2020. So you are here to let us know that FELMAUSA can brag about having all of our tax information intact today. And that no more where anybody from any other place other than the president or other than being authorized by the president will file taxes for FELMAUSA anymore. In other words, that all these issues have been corrected. Is that the message?
Exactly. A cease and desist letter was sent to the individual in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
to tell the reform then that do not file any more taxes for this federation anymore.
Okay.
That cease and desist letter is there. But people think that when we come here to make statements, we just be making statements out of the blue moon, just as the Mohammed Krumah case. When we talk about it, the team we're trying to lie on the brother, we're trying to fabricate something, we're trying to defame the brother. Nobody trying to defame anybody. If Mr. Krumah injected himself into the problem, then why he can't get a backlash?
Okay.
So why you want to you tell the cat don't eat the fish, but you also must be able to tell the fish don't smell. Because definitely when you smell, I'm Mr. Cat, I'm going to come for you to eat you for freedom. And that's exactly what we did. So that was a collective decision that was taken. It was a campaign decision. It was not Obe's individual decision. So if you don't like Obe, you don't have to fight me for that. Fight the campaign. If Mr. Krumah feels that we defame his character, he has the right to file a lawsuit, but he cannot file a lawsuit against me as an individual. It has to be a collective lawsuit against the entire campaign. Because that is a campaign statement.
Right.
So, but let's not dwell on that. The website.
So okay. The what now?
The website.
The website. All right. The website. Let's go to the website.
The federation website was built by President Kennedy. The Kennedy administration built the website.
Yeah.
Okay. And what? All correspondence from the government was going through. It was going through the email of the individual that created our website.
Okay.
We all know who created our website.
So it's a Sekou Fofana.
Fofana was the one who created the website.
Right.
When he created a website, I think, if my memory serves me right, either he did it pro bono or he gave it to the federation or he was paid. But however it is, if you build it for the federation and you no longer in power, turn the website over to the federation. He never did that. And Hawa had to clean that mess up. We have the website now, and several attempts have been made by an unknown individual to hijack the website back, but they failed.
So wait quickly. So Hawa, you want us to believe that Hawa is not only a financial expert, but she's also an IT expert. How was she able to deal with the website thing too? How did she do that?
Well, that's classified.
Classified.
She's a councilwoman.
I didn't know FELMAUSA had classified information now.
All right. There are just certain individuals that cannot be put into the public limelight. I know you understand that you're a security man.
Okay.
Yeah. But the primary objective was to get the federation's property back. And if we get the federation property back, you cannot just start managing the federation's property and forget about changing password.
Right.
And some of these things was the primary target for Hawa that, you know what? We need to clean the internet with FELMAUSA's name. There are a lot of nonsense over there about FELMAUSA, and people log in, they go, they see a lot of foolishness on website about FELMAUSA and this and that. So, Brother Obe, one of the things that I'm going to do, if I'm privileged to be president for this federation, is to sweep, to vacuum, to vacuum the internet of FELMAUSA's name. So that means if you log on to FELMAUSA's website, instead of taking all these funny website or all these stuff about negative stuff about FELMAUSA, you just go straight to FELMAUSA page and you talk only about FELMAUSA. RT experts do these things. So she had the privilege to do these things and to make sure that the website is solely for FELMAUSA and FELMAUSA have full control of the website. So if she's elected or Sister Tuma is elected because there are all possibilities. Sister Tuma will be coming to office with FELMAUSA stuff on a silver platter. She ain't got nothing to worry about. She ain't got to go fight anybody about this, about that thing or this thing or that thing. It will be up to her to decide whether she can make them vulnerable. You see?
So this is huge, though, brother Bamba. So you are putting yourself on record for saying that should Tuma, becomes the next FELMAUSA president as opposed to your candidate, that though your candidate is currently in possession of all of those vital, things for the federation, that those things will be turned over to whoever the winner is, if it's not Sister Hawa. Is that what you're saying? We'll not have a repeat of whatever it is.
There will be no need and no reason for Hawa to go on anything that is for any property of FELMAUSA. Okay. She will not do that. She's a woman of integrity. She's not going to do that. She's not going to do all these hard work for FELMAUSA and then she sees the federation website because she has lost election. God forbid. She's never going to do that. But that's not her personal property. And mind you, she already has a law firm protecting the asset of the federation. That's one of the things that she did. She secured the asset of FELMAUSA, protected it so that it's safe. So that if someone comes in here like you, and we have a misunderstanding, and you say, okay, I got a FELMAUSA property, the TV that I bought for FELMAUSA, I'm going to go on to, or I got a laptop for FELMAUSA, I'm going to go on to, or I control the website, I'm going to go on to that. And just like that, as in the past, it has never been under any leadership where the administration will protect the assets of the federation. It has never happened. Somebody can prove me wrong. This is not a campaign. This is not a campaign promotion.
Who's the liaison between the federation and that legal, that law firm or legal institution that's been contacted? Because what I'm concerned about, at the end of the day, there has to be somebody that will be officially communicating to the law firm. For instance, for example, if after the election in Georgia, if Hawa is not elected, I know you hate to hear that, but if that was the case, so would she be the one to have to write to the law firm to say, I was the acting councilwoman and now we have a duly elected president, and so therefore this person, would she be, who's in charge of doing that?
Well, that will be up to the Tuma team. That's why they will set up a transitional team.
Okay.
Whoever, if Hawa won the election, inshallah, we don't have to go through that. But if Tuma happy to win the election, we will have to set up a transitional team where they will sit down with the councilwoman and the councilman to make sure there's a smooth transition of power. But what we suggested is that we could have people of the National Board of Directors, whichever board that is elected at that time, and some maybe elements of the elder council to get involved, make sure there's a smooth transition. And I don't think that's a bad thing, But at least we all can go to bed now and say, you know what, FELMAUSA property is protected. Nobody going to abscond with FELMAUSA property and they're going to run away with it and don't even worry about the federation. And the federation have to start from scratch, from square one. No. So we already understand that. So these are all achievements of Hawa. And these are things that were done with her efforts. And she briefs the national board chairman for these things.
So, Honorable Bamba, with all due respect, it looked like a lot has been achieved, but to the best of my understanding, Hawa is a member of a team that was put in charge last year to head the federation up to the next election. The team initially comprises of three community members. The former president, say, my brother and friend Maurice Kroma and Hawa. So why are you attributing all these credits to Hawa as individual? Where were the other people in all this? What, is it? Were these things done collectively, or Hawa did these things unilaterally, all on her own? 90%, I can say 95% or 99% was done individually. So that means she's not a team player then.
No, she is. That's what I said. 90 or 95% of the time in collaboration with Brother Maurice Kroma.
Okay.
You know, okay. But
So
the person,
so they both should take the credits.
well, it's hard to say. No.
Okay. No.
It's hard to say. People would think that I'm saying it because of political expediency, but Mr. Nkrumah himself knows the fact.
Okay.
He knows that she's the one who's been doing the work. He knows that.
Okay.
And but that's not something. If he wants share credit, that's okay.
Okay.
But I'm just telling you that these things, especially the financial part of the federation, this thing were not done with anybody. She was the sole individual who was responsible for that position. You know, and if Morris want to share a part of it, maybe she can try to give him some credit on certain things. But I think his credit is limited because he's based on other things right now. And, you know, that could make him more relevant in the community. So he can come out to tell what he did.
Okay. Okay. So if I even gave you if for a second we agree that, you know, Hawa has done remarkably well, 90% of these wonderful jobs done on her own. So then my question becomes, why is it being difficult for her campaign message to resonate? Why is it not resonating the way out to? Why are the people not aware of these things the way they out to? What's wrong? Are you working is it your fault as a spokesperson that you have not communicated these things sufficiently well enough to the community? Why?
Thank you, Mr. Nkrumah. Look, first of all, let me tell you one thing. The community got these things. Well, you know what? This is a community that's very funny. They think instead of putting Hawa at the top of the ballot, they have put Obe at the top of the ballot. They think because they have issue, or I don't like Obe, I don't like certain things about him, so because he's attached to that campaign, I'm not going to attach myself to that campaign. You won't believe that there are prominent individuals in this community who call Hawa, people that I call my friends, people that I've opened my heart to, call Hawa and told her, you know what? I like your campaign, and I'm sure that you can move this community forward, and I know you can professionalize this community, this federation. But I can't come with you because you got Obe is over there.
Seriously.
And Hawa categorically told her, you know what? You don't have to support me. But Brother Obe is not going anywhere. He's been with me from day one, and I'm going to stick with him. Unlike the Tuma campaign, who had to get rid of Honorable Bill Clinton because certain individual wanted to come to her campaign and did not like Bill Clinton. So they rather told her, you got to get rid of Bill Clinton because I don't like him. You have your personal issue with Bill Clinton, deal with it as an individual. Why will you inject that into the community? But I don't blame them.
But Bro Obe, if you took this to the national level, though, back home, there were similar stories. One of many reasons why Madam Salif went with President Weah was because Wema Pay, the then UP chairman, made it his duty to insult Ellen Johnson Salif daily. Ellen made it clear, if you want me to come back to UP, you want me to stand with you, Omer Boakai, Wema Pay has to go. Boakai said no, and he paid the price. So you think Hawa should pay the price for keeping you, even if Tuma has let Bill Clinton go?
If VP Bucket did not allow Mr. Payne to go, he did the honorable thing.
Okay.
He did the honorable thing. If he was going to lose that election, he was going to lose it anyway. So to say that because he did not let the brother go, that's why he lost the election, I take serious exception to that.
Okay.
Anybody could say that, but Una Allah knows why he lost the election. He was not meant to be. Right. So if anybody thinks that because look, first of all, this month I'm going to retire, win or lose. I'm going to retire. And I'm going to tell this to every friend.
You're too young to retire. Retire to go where?
No, I have to retire. You know what? And I'm going to say this to all the friends, including you yourself and everybody else. If I announce my retirement and stay out of FELMAUSA politics, if you tag me anything, FELMAUSA, on my Facebook page, consider your friend yourself being unfriended. Because I do not want to delve into FELMAUSA politics. That does not mean I'm not going to contribute to FELMAUSA. If I retire, FELMAUSA convention comes, I will pay for my entry fee for the 2 nights or whatever, even if I don't go to the convention. That will be my way of contributing to the federation. Okay. So nobody can tell me, say, because he's no longer in authority, he's no longer going with FELMAUSA, unlike other brothers who walked away from FELMAUSA and never even bothered to contribute in any way to the Federation until when they are put in power. No, that's not what I'm going to do. If I retire this month, every convention that you have, I will pay for 3 nights entry fee to the convention. So if that's $90, $100, I will pay my $100 even if I don't go to the convention. So you can that would be my way of staying with the Federation, because we have come too far for us to turn our back, and that's the reason why some of us are still around. So if that's why we want to make sure that FELMAUSA lands in the right hand. If Sister Sister Hawa is fortunate to win the election, inshallah she's going to win. My job is done. But because Allah knows best. But then you speak as a human being, you talk like human being, as a God talks like God. Human being talks like human being, God talks like God. So I'm not a God. Stuck for Allah. I'm not. So I pray every day that Sister Hawa wins the election, because I know where FELMAUSA is going to be moving far ahead. The victory
okay, go ahead. Victory
I've learned this. Victory for Sister Tuma is a setback for FELMAUSA.
Okay. So your retirement will be contingent upon Hawa now winning the election. Was she to be elected the next president? I'm assuming you'll stick around for a little longer. Is that correct?
No. I said win or lose. I'm still going to retire. I'll still retire.
I'll tell you what, I think that's the saddest thing I was doing. I think the community still needs you. And my personal advice to you, I think you need to stick around. Don't retire just quite yet. But folks, if you're just joining us, I want to take this time to welcome all of you to our today's broadcast. I have with me Obe Bamba, the spokesperson for Team Hawa Kuruma Kone, presidential candidate for the Federation of the Liberian Mandingo Associations in the East United States of America. So obviously we are discussing many issues, like concerning the Federation, but trust me, we're going to zoom down, we're going to narrow all these things down to the Hawa team campaign messaging here, what's their strategy for winning. That's what we're trying to get to. But before then, we've got other things to talk about. So before my guest came on the platform, I was sent a particular video. I think I'm going to charge them for this video because
This is your own boy, DJ, the wolf. I'm back with victory for our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. Take our brother, we are voting. Our corner. Uncle NK, we are voting. Our corner. For you empowerment, we are voting. Our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. That's a travel, we are voting. Our corner. Community people, we are voting. Our corner. For you empowerment, we are voting. Our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. That's a travel, we are voting. Our corner. Community people, we are voting. Our corner. For accountability, we are voting. Our corner.
Thank you.
No, you like that, right? I noticed every time I play that, you laugh.
Yeah, really.
You like that. All right. That's good.
Unfortunately, I do not dance. But if we have to, I like the beat. But if we have to, if we are fortunate to win the election in Georgia, inshallah, maybe we'll kick dust all over the place that day.
I hope you're learning some dancing moves before you go to the convention.
Usman Doro will have to get out of the way because I want our dance to be in the dust, so I can kick dust out the face.
There you go. That would be awesome. So, let's get back to business here. So, I think was it last week, if I'm not mistaken, I hosted the honorable board chair, Honorable Mama Enza Dole, and at the start of our show, I asked him to join me to congratulate Team Tuma Fofana for having, published, at least 2-3 times within 12 hours time, calling on all of our supporters to come to Georgia, despite all the, Rima Road, the Wahala you hear from chapter leaders and so-called whatever. Tuma is finally making a case for all her supporters to go to Georgia. So I asked Dollar to join me to congratulate her on that message alone. So my question is, why, Sister Hawa, you and Hawa, your campaign has not posted even once calling on people to go to Georgia to come and vote? Why is that? Why you behind for that?
Well, because as far as we are concerned, going to Georgia is not off the table. No one has announced that we are not going to Georgia. People, a few people get together and say, and decide that, okay, we don't want to go to Georgia, or we should not go to Georgia. We don't see the need to come out to say, oh, you're not going to Georgia, because we have never even talked about not going to Georgia. And even the Tuma team, so Sister Tuma and Sister Hawa are the ones in the race. If the two campaigns decide to go to Georgia, I don't know what kind of fish these other brothers have to fry in the whole situation. That brother, the man called Usman Toure. Usman Toure has been the second longest serving board members in FELMAUSA. Unfortunately, this guy has no record, absolutely no record of working with any board chairman. He's always been bellicose. And, you always hawkish. You always want to fight with nothing. And do you know that request has been withdrawn by the so-called? Huh?
What request?
The request for us to not go to Georgia, they have withdrawn the request.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay, so there's some of these things that it's just been playful, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, and my point was, Mr. Kumar, look, everybody. The reason why I was against that request was that the chapter leaders, or let's say not chapter leaders, that request should have come from the national administration, which is for Kumar and Sister Hawa. It should not come from them, because they are already part of the organ, which is the National Board of Directors. So you cannot leave the two organs. Why are you going to make a request for the national administration when the administration is the one that's supposed to be making that request? And you, Usman Toure, you represent the state of New York. Your president has come on air and said that we are going to Georgia. Okay, so I'm wondering, whose interest is he fighting for on the board by saying that we should not go to Georgia? Whose interest? Because it certainly can be the state of New York. And your colleague on the board, Brother Jabate, wants to go to Georgia. Only you, Usman Toure, don't want to go to Georgia. And then you're asking that we should not go to Georgia. And you're running all over the place trying to recruit people to say we're not going to Georgia. If you don't want us to go to Georgia, talk to members of the national administration who runs the national administration that runs the day affairs of the federation, and tell them that you don't want to go to we should not go to Georgia. Let us send a proposal. But they never did send a proposal. If the national administration has sent a proposal, the board would have been compelled to act on it. The chairman would have been compelled to put it on the table or vote. But it never happened. Instead, he wanted his individual opinion to be legislated, or he wanted us to vote on his individual opinion. And that's what we decided. We said, no, we can't do that. Bringing that thing on the table, that proposal alone on the table is a bad precedent. It's not good for the So we can't just sit there and allow some individual to bring us something on the board while the national administration wants to go. No. Somebody came up and said that he wanted us to go to Georgia. Even though he's saying back though that he didn't want us to go to Georgia because of COVID-19. But when they gave him the opportunity to come on POTW, he said he wanted us to Georgia. So I don't know what is Usman Toure's problem. But I don't blame him. I blame those brothers, people like Brother Wata Musa, who is all at the forefront of everything. Wata Musa is the oldest individual serving on FELMAUSA board, if not. But he always at the forefront of everything. Everything matters. And that's very disheartening. It's very frustrating for a big brother like you, who's supposed to make sure that we are intact. You're supposed to inculcate your wisdom into us, but instead you are there fighting us to devour us. But then at the end of the day, you guys will kind of say FELMAUSA is divided, FELMAUSA is divided. Mr. Kroma, if we have a disagreement does not amount to division. We have disagreement. Disagreement and disunity are two different words. They are not the same. So we disagree on issue. That's why it is. So, bro, Wata Musa need to man up. He need to try to do the right thing. I don't even know why they would do the petition now from the Elder Council that we go to Georgia. So all along, you've been wasting our time. You've been wasting our resources. If we were putting any resources into this to have a discussion on it, no. We go to Georgia. We're going to Georgia. We're going to Georgia. You don't have to come to Georgia. You can stay away from going to Georgia. But don't waste our time. Usman Toure needs a report from the National Board of Directors. And I hope the state of New York will take action against him to step to put him aside because a prolonged leadership is a corrupt leadership.
Okay. Well, I agree with all of that, but I still believe though that it probably would have been a good thing. Definitely not a bad thing for Sister Hawa, for Team Hawa to have joined the call for folks to come to Georgia, especially she being a Georgia resident. So just when people were busy raising all these concerns, it's a short campaign, a message from your campaign to say, look, we are in Georgia. We think it's safe for you to come. Don't be, don't panic. Don't let people, So the same way to my colleague, folks, I agree with you. Majority of folks who were saying that they shouldn't go to Georgia were maybe one way or the other associated with the Tuma campaign, but still, the fact that she keep now in the last 24 hours, the last 72 hours to say, let's go to Georgia. I think that's a message that your campaign should also imbibe on. Just my opinion.
We have been doing that. We have been doing that. Sharing the flyers of people to come to Georgia was an act of telling people to come to Georgia.
Okay.
We share flyers all over our websites, all over our Facebook pages, inviting people to Georgia, telling people to come to Georgia. That is another way of getting the message. We didn't have to do any official stuff to tell people to come to Georgia. We have never wavered in our resolve to asking people to come to Georgia. We have been sharing flyers upon flyers to ask people to come to Georgia. But let's assume if we're not going to Georgia, let's take the opposite. And then we were sharing the flyers on our pages. What would people say? People say we shouldn't come to Georgia, but then why are you guys promoting the flyers on your website? So equally so, as we are already promoting the flyers and asking people to come to Georgia is another way of conveying the message for them to come to Georgia.
Okay. All right. Well said, Mr. Spokesman. So let's speak on Hawa being on the council. Now, honestly, to be frank with you, this is a call that really upset myself as a host. But nevertheless, the issue is out there, and not to mention, even though I disabled the function that would have allowed you to see comments from our viewers, because usually that becomes distracting. So you and I agreed earlier that you were not interested in that, so I kind of disabled that. So, but I'm reading the comments. So the issue has been raised 3 times. Not to mention, I've heard it from other people. But like I said, it's something that I am personally offended by the call alone, which has to do with the call by some to say your candidate as a council member out to resign, recuse herself from the before. It pisses me off. Why? I mean, when we had certain presidents, running for re-election without recusing themselves. So why Hawa? So, but anyway, I had to put it out to you because it's an issue that folks continue to raise on our show here, and I've also heard it many times. So the call is for your candidate to see reason to recuse herself from her position as a council lady prior to the elections in Georgia. What do you say to that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kumar. Brother Morris Perfect Manager Kumar is a good brother. But it's just that sometimes he just puts a foot on issues. Sometimes he doesn't even know what he's doing, actually. Because if you look at this year's election is very important to this federation. It's a historical election. In a sense that we have 2 sisters that are vying for the presidency of the federation. That has never happened in FELMAUSA before. And I'm happy. People say, oh, you love self-glory. Self-glory. Sometimes you have to be the one to highlight your achievement. If you don't say I am, no one is going to say thou art. I'm proud of myself. If that's self-glorification, but I would say I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of my brothers and sisters who are on the team with me for throwing a female candidate into the race, a qualified female candidate into the race. That's the first time it ever happened in the history of FELMAUSA. Our campaign did that. But for some reason, that process was derailed last year. But Allah knows best. If you find these 2 sisters, and we have Sister Tuma who jumped into the race, and that makes it 2. So we are proud too that she has jumped into the race. So to see these 2 sisters jumping into the race and wanting to lead this federation, even though one is more qualified than the other, and to see Brother Morris Kumar being the one to undermine that process, It's frustrating to me. He was part of the race, but he could not hold his campaign together. His campaign disintegrated before his eyes. So I think he's doing these things out of jealousy. But however, for him to try to undermine that process, Mr. Kumar, is frustrating to me. But mind you, last year, you know, somebody was telling me about Brother Amar Kamara's, his former campaign manager's comments that he made about him as to how he was happy that the convention, the election was cancelled because Prophet Maurice Kumar would have won the election, FELMAUSA would have fallen back or something like that. Well, Mr. Amar Kamara is only solidifying or is only highlighting what I was saying about his campaign at the time he was a spokesperson. You see, Morris is an individual, like I said, he does not have no clue. He likes to manipulate. I'm not denigrating the brother. These are historical facts. In our Badingo community, when someone does something and you highlight it, and other people who have knowledge of it, they say, oh, he's swallowing the man, he's lying on the man. 2011 in Silver Spring, Maryland. 2011 election, Silver Spring, Maryland. Morris was the Secretary General under the Dukley administration. Mamadi Say and Brother Mohammed Belete were running for the presidency of FELMAUSA at that time in 2011. Morris manipulated that process. They undermined that process in every way. Number one, the first thing they did was that they erased the educational requirement for presidency in FELMAUSA, just to accommodate Brother Belete, who had no portfolio in any discipline. Morris did that. That's not a creation. People who were there can attest to that. The same Morris turned around and denied Usman Toure of New York from voting because Usman Toure did not come with his legal name, his legal ID card. He denied him. That was a legitimate reason. But for what reason he denied the entire Phoenix, Arizona? He denied the entire Phoenix, Arizona delegate from voting because he knew that if they had voted, that would have been another story. The election would have gone maybe Mamadi's way. This is the same Morris who did that. So this same Morris, who is a councilman, coming on now and giving conflicting statements to confuse the community or to throw the community into something of chaos, I'm not surprised. Maybe many of the brothers over there will be surprised. Because first of all, Morris has no legitimacy to declare to approve FELMAUSA's the pseudo election that took place in Minnesota. He has no legitimacy to do that. He could only do that under the banner of the council. But he came out and said, this is my individual opinion. For the mere fact that 272 people voted in that process, that means that the election is legit. You have already put an official document on FELMAUSA's website, FELMAUSA Facebook page, denouncing the election in Minnesota. Then how are you going to come up with another personal opinion talking about for the mere fact that 272 people voted in the election, that election is legit? Carlos is the president of FELMAUSA. Carlos is my brother-in-law. He's married to my sister. If he was going to ask me, brother-in-law, what do you think? I have political interest. What do you think? I was going to tell him, Carlos, set up an exploratory committee and see what you got. If he could identify 272 people that were going to vote for him, Kafuma, that would have been a landslide. If you got 200 in a community like Minnesota, you got 272 people in your corner. He and Solo were just fought on the remaining folks. And no matter what happened, he would have taken some from the remaining folks because you have already secured 270. That's almost 300 people you got on your side. If you and your opponent are going to fight on the remaining people, most likely that's a landslide. But because these guys are political neophytes, they don't understand politics. So they just jump on and start doing things. But let's look at Morris's analysis. If you look at the number of 272, I want to ask my brother Morris, is election about numbers? No, I don't look at it that way. From my understanding, from my layman understanding of election is about the process. I could be a sitting president right now, and I decide to run on a white. If I run on a white ballot and nobody contests against me, no other person has to come to the pool. If I cast my one vote, that election is over because it's a white ballot. So you're gonna delegitimize that election because my one voter? Then you're talking about 272 people. You see, the population of Minnesota is 272. And you, Mr. Kroma, you know how many people came out to the pool when you and Chairman Donald went at loggerhead in 2012. You know how many people came to the pool?
I want to keep this conversation on Maurice Kroma. So leave me out of Minnesota issue. But for God's sake,
I'm not injecting.
Right, take me out of the conversation. Yeah. So
I know you can beat me up because I was attached to the Dollars campaign, so right. I know it was hurtful to see yourself falling down to the honorable man. But you know what? Jokingly, but I know, believe me, that election was a fun for me. It was one of the fun for me in Minnesota. Yours and that of BT's with the OLF.
Right.
Because governor support, our community came together and made sure that Brother BT was elected. Yeah. That's how strong Minnesota was. So to see even our brothers that are in Minnesota, our non-Madingo brothers that are in Minnesota, they will tell you, if someone told them now Minnesota Madingo is divided, they will be happy. Some of them who were not attached to who were not getting votes from us. But if those who are getting votes from us will be pissed because now their votes are divided. Let's say Brother Kamati Dian. Brother Kamati Dian is not going to be happy because that's where he got some of his votes outside the other communities.
Let's discuss your campaign. You're spending too much time on Minnesota. Let leave that.
Too much time on Minnesota. I'm spending too much time on Morris's. I'm spending too much time on Morris's action because
So what about the other section by Maurice Kroma stating that I know Chairman Dollar addressed himself to this last week anyway, but can you imagine Chairman Maurice Kroma, thinking, just having the idea that he and Chairman Dollar will preside over the election in Georgia? So what is that place election commissioners?
Okay, well, that's what I'm looking at. Where did he get that mindset from? That's some of the things that I'm talking about. Maurice does not understand some of these things he just said. Maurice is a sensational speaker. Maurice only speaks for the audience. He sensationalizes his speech just to make sure people listen to him and say, "Oh, this guy is eloquent." Eloquence is not what it is. It's about it's about propounding logic. If you logicize your issue, people get attracted to you. But those who want to see eloquent people, you can go and see eloquent people. But some of us want to see logic. But if Maurice come out to say, "Oh, me and Chairman Dollar are going to preside over the convention," where does he get that notion from? And he went as far as saying, "Oh, Hawa will have to be, Hawa will have to recuse herself. She's not forced to recuse herself, but she will have to recuse herself." Seriously?
Yeah.
How does that work? In FELMAUSA, maybe he's forgetting the history of FELMAUSA. In FELMAUSA, the incumbent president has the legal right, the legitimate right to preside over the national convention.
Absolutely.
So maybe he doesn't know that.
It comes to think of it, Obi.
I want to say this.
Right.
The convention that brought him to power in 2009 in Minnesota, Richmond was the sitting president. I want to ask him who presided over that convention.
Exactly.
Something that is seriously wrong.
I also like to ask him the convention that put him in charge as a councilman. Mamadi used to say who, despite all the indictment, all of the issues around him, he still presided over the convention last year.
Yeah.
Even though he was ready to be president.
Definitely.
Why did you ask him to resign?
Yeah.
To recuse himself? What a double standard.
Yeah. Why he didn't ask him? Thank you.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, Morris did not see that. No. He didn't see that because I even talking to 2009. So maybe I think I wrong him for taking to 2009 because I think his memory has been somehow murky about 2009. So the most recent one, which was 2019, 10 years later.
Right.
You can't tell me you forgot that one.
Yeah.
But when you are bent on promoting yourself, that's some of the things that happen. I think somebody needed to coach him. Thank God this guy did not even ascend to the presidency of the Federation, because it would have put us completely backward. Like I'm saying right now, when I was saying that about Morris, people say, oh, it's campaign. No, it's not campaign. That's my honest opinion. And that's the same honest opinion I'm giving about Sister Tuma right now. For ascendancy to FELMAUSA presidency will set FELMAUSA back another 5 years. I can say that. She's not qualified. She does not know how to lead this organization. She's not.
Sister Tuma?
But it's not me. She's been tested. The sister neglected her position. And we all have to.
But there are two different positions, though, Mr. Bamba. She was elected as the treasurer, and that went the way it did. But don't you think that's much more different from being the president? I mean, the elector, he got to be fully psychologically engaged in order to come forward for presidency. Don't you agree?
Okay, well, you could say that. But if she cannot take care of that, believe me, she does not even have the time in the first place. And elements around her are saying these things, but they're still there supporting her. So where is the love? Because, okay, first of all, let's look at this. You don't like Obe, right? But you know how I can do the job. So do you prefer punishing FELMAUSA because you don't like Obe, or you prefer giving FELMAUSA the gift while Obe is still on the campaign? So now tomorrow, why if Hawa won and I'm no longer in the picture? Okay? Or why if Hawa lost, God forbid, and I'm no longer in the picture? What are you going to say? You think my life is hinged on FELMAUSA? No, my life is not hinged on FELMAUSA. We all love this community one way or the other. I have done my contribution to this community. Many of you don't know. Like I always said, Kenema Bobby, they did not break today. From Liberia all the way here, we have contributed immensely to this community, this Madingo community. The records are there. And those who saw us doing what we did to protect this community, to make sure that our religion and cultural heritage are protected, those people are grateful to us. So you think because you know Obe in America, so that means his service to the community gets started in America? No, my service did not start here.
Okay.
You don't know me. You don't know me. So if you want to punish FELMAUSA because of me, you are punishing yourself, because I'm not going to be in the picture, win or lose. So what are you going to do about it? Okay. So go to the pool, vote with your conscience. If you believe that Tuma is the one that can lead FELMAUSA, fine. Go ahead and vote her, let her lead FELMAUSA. But don't come crying tomorrow because you are hearing it from my mouth now, so you think I'm lying. No, it's not just say that and lie.
It sounds like you think that if Tuma was to be elected, it will be a selection of popularity over competence.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. That's why it is.
All right. I'll tell you what, Mr. Bamba, we'll play a music one more time. I'll take a quick bathroom break, and then we'll start taking calls if there are any. All right? All right. Let's put your...
This is your Umbo, EJ, I'm back. The victory for our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. Take our brother, we are voting. Our corner. Uncle NK, we are voting. Our corner. For youth empowerment, we are voting. Our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. That's it, we are voting. Our corner. Community people, we are voting. Our corner. For youth empowerment, we are voting. Our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. That's it, we are voting. Our corner. Community people, we are voting. Our corner. For accountability, we are voting. Our corner.
Oh, let me just stop. Sorry.
Hawa your own boy, EJ, I'm back with victory for our corner. Hey, we are voting. Our corner. Say the brother, we are voting. Our corner. We are voting. Our corner. For you empowerment, we are voting. Our corner. Yeah, we are voting. Our corner. That's it, we are voting. Our corner. Community people, we are voting. Our corner. For you empowerment, we are voting. Our corner. Yeah, we are voting. Our corner. That's it, we are voting. Our corner. Community people, we are voting. Our corner. For accountability, we are voting. Our corner.
All right, folks. We once again, I want to take this time to thank every one of you for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you here when we organize these shows, because clearly we can only have the shows when you are with us. For you, not for us, by the way. Without you, we'll not be here. So I just put the number up there now. So we'll start taking calls. I just put the number up there. We are now taking calls or text messages. So the number is right out there. If you have any question, comment, or concern, this will be the perfect time for you to call in or text in those concerns and all questions or whatever it is. Go ahead and call us, and then we will take your calls or read your text messages over here to our guests. Obe Bamba, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, sir.
So, can you go over Team Hawa Corner first 100 days deliverable, where you to be fortunate in 2 weeks' time to be elected as the next FELMAUSA leader? So, what exactly? Can you remind the audience as to what is it Team Hawa intend to do, which direction? Because it sounds like some of the things she talked about during the campaign, at least when she do the debate, it sounds like she's done some of those things already, even while she served as a councilwoman. So I'm beginning to wonder. So just the first 100 days deliverable, what are some of the things that you guys have in mind to FELMAUSA?
Well, like you said, she's already started, or she's already done some of these things already. So so it kind of like going to minimize her workload for the first 100 days in office. So because and that's the kind of person she is. She always want to be proactive, and so one of those things that she's planning to work on is the FELMAUSA medical mission.
Okay,
it's not going to be prioritized by the Hawa administration. It's not going to be prioritized. That doesn't mean we're going to.
It's not going to be.
It's not going to be prioritized. It's not. Okay. That doesn't mean that we're going to get rid of it.
Okay.
Just quite recently, you remember that she sent about like $30,000 worth of medication that she got from one of her donors to Liberia.
How recent is that? I'm just hearing how recent is that?
Less than 2 weeks ago. Less than 2 weeks ago.
I'm just hearing that. I did not know that. I'm just hearing.
Yeah, less than 2 weeks ago. Okay. So that's something we don't have to prioritize. But we're going to deal with the most vulnerable when it comes to the medical mission. We want to prioritize the education over the medical mission, because we spend too much money on the medical mission, and sometimes it doesn't give her any good results. But that doesn't mean we're going to get rid of the medical mission, but we're going to deal with the most vulnerable individuals. And we've got doctors over there that we're going to deal with when it comes to that. But the way FELMAUSA is going to put all her resources into the medical mission, it's not going to be like that under the Hawa administration. We saw the $58,000 that were generated in Philadelphia 2018. We saw what happened to it. If you ask them, most of the mathematics will carry some of that money. Most of the mathematics will go to the medical mission, and the medical mission was I don't know, something else. I want to say that. So Hawa, having done all this, a lot of these are things, Mr. Krumah, that she has already. These are things that she wanted to do in 2019 if she had won the election in Atlanta, Georgia. So when she was given the opportunity now to lead the federation as a councilwoman, she decided to embark on these things now. So that means for 2 years that she's going to spend it on other things like fundraising, like writing grants. Even though she's writing grants for the federation. Hold on 1 minute. Even though she's waiting grant for the federation, I think like 5 or 6 grant applications she has made for the federation, and they were all denied. Simply because the federation does not have a federation. The federation does not have a how you call it
a record of
responsibility, financial wise. And now because FELMAUSA has seldom kept a bank account for more than 2 years or 4 years. And, and some of these things hinder your chances of getting the grants. The organization that she runs right now, that she serves as a director for, they were able to get $5 million. $5 million. They were able to get $5 million for her department that she's a director for. $5 million for the COVID-19. So now she's in the process of hiring 30 more employees to add to the ones that she has to carry on the awareness of the COVID-19. So how will it be that an organization that has been around for 13 years will have 6 applications out there and not a single one is approved? Some of the reasons for this is that one of them is that people filing, separate individuals filing the IRS taxes. Watamusa filing one in North Dakota. Mr. Bennett is filing one in Washington, D.C. Mamadi is filing one in Minnesota. That's not good for the Federation's record. And that's something that we all have to file on. Mamadi was the legitimate president and he should have done those things. But for 2 different individuals, besides Mamadi, to file those taxes was the wrong thing. And these are the same guys that you found today that are acting there. Oh, we're not united. You committed an act that derailed the chances of the Federation moving forward. But you're not looking at that. I think we need to file on that. So our process, Hawa already got a blueprint that she's already way ahead of her schedule, to say the least. She's far ahead of her schedule.
Okay.
Sister Tuma is the one, even with that, with what Hawa has already done, Barack Kuma, Sister Tuma herself may already have a less workload when she comes to power, God forbid. If she comes to power, she will have a less workload because some of the things that she should have been doing now or struggling to do, those things are already in place. All she needs to do, just take this thing and put it on her lap and move on from there.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to make a follow-up on that here. I'm getting some messages on Messenger on our show. Folks, there's absolutely nothing wrong with my phone number. My number works fine. I don't know why you're having a hard time calling it, but so let me give you the benefit of the doubt. If your calls can come through, like some of you have said on the show here, go ahead and send me text. I'll read the text. If you want to write a question under the show as well, maybe I would attempt that today. Just go ahead and do that. Now I'm seeing some comments. I don't think those are worth being read because they are just comments, right? But I'll take your questions. The number is on the screen, and it's correct. That's my number. Anybody who knows me, that's my number right up there. And my phone is on. It's active. If you call the number right now, it'll come. There's something I noticed when it comes to this show thing. For some reason, when we do teleconference, right, more people are inclined to call me. I don't know why that is. Then when you come on these quote-unquote audio platforms, Zoom or, their video thing, people just like to go on here and write, red trash sometime, just all sort of comment under the show, but they won't call. If it was the teleconference, I'm sure by now a lot of people will be lined up in the queue. But it's up to you. You can keep your questions coming. I'll take them. Otherwise, I'll keep going. So coming back to you, Brother Bamba. So don't you think with Sister Howard's department recently having been awarded $5 million as a result of which she's hiring additional workforce, don't you think Hawa is too busy to run this federation though, as much as she's qualified? But she already has a full-time job occupying her time and her mind. How much time is she going to have for FELMAUSA?
Enough time. That's why you got VPA, you got VPO, and that's why you have committees.
Okay.
And so it's not like she has to do it individually or just by herself. And the VPA will serve as the ex-officio for all the other committees. So the VPA, in particular, logically, in FELMAUSA, if you look at it, the way it's structured, the VPA has more work to do than the president. Because if you have to serve as an ex-officio on all the committees in FELMAUSA, you got more work to do than the president. The president will just call cabinet meeting and you bring in your report. You got to deal with more than 4, 5, 6 different committees as a VPA for FELMAUSA. That's why it is. So with an active VPA, the Hawa has less burden on her shoulder. But even though the buck stops with her, you know, she's not busy. She just want to contribute. She got a lot to give to FELMAUSA. People don't know. And these things are already happening. Look, bro, Kuma, let's look at the convention, the 2018 convention. You know, Lima got her 30% from the Permanent CC administration. The Permanent CC administration was unable to sponsor her convention, the 2019 convention. Hawa and Borolai had to make that convention successful. Take a look at this year's convention. They're not borrowing money again. They are trying to make this convention successful again, even though there's no money to support this convention, to sponsor this convention. And you have been very instrumental in that regard, trying to generate some funds that some of us are yet to contribute to make sure that the convention goes ahead. So these are things she got enough time on her shoulder. Elle est le patronum. According to your telephone blind, you go have a meeting for 1 hour, you come back. That whole department is already set. I had the privilege at one point to have a conversation with a lot of the ladies in the department on a video. And we took a video tour into the department, went to this other person, oh, hi, and you won't believe it. A lot of Liberians work with her as well. In fact, almost all the people that I saw working with her were black people. Liberians, African American, and other nationals.
Okay. So okay, I get that. So she will have time to allocate. So with respect to the fundraising though, now it breaks my heart. It saddens me to hear that she's written at least 6 different grants, in order to secure loan for FELMAUSA, none of which came through. But at the end of the day, FELMAUSA is going to need money to do FELMAUSA's project. So what other ways does she, with President Hawa Nkrumah, raise money to do whatever she wants to do in the immediate term, in the short term?
Okay, that's the reason why she was able to be ahead, because when she's already ahead of schedule. So let's look at 2021 now. Let's say she assumed the leadership this year, and let's say a few months from now we run into 2021. Some of those records that were already bleeding, some of those records, at least let's say the FELMAUSA credit will be somehow pushed up a little bit. Okay. But if you have to get to the presidency and start from day one, then that means you're looking at the end of her tenure in 2022. People FELMAUSA will start doing something for herself. But as long as she's already ahead of the game, let's say 1 year ahead of the game, we're gonna be okay. We already got people standing back, and I even have a brother in this community who called me, a big brother, nice, responsible. He called me yesterday, 2 days ago. I'm not gonna call his name. He said, "My picking?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I pray that your team wins." I said, "Thank you." He said, "Because I'm standing by right now, I have people who want to support, who want to sponsor. I even have a friend who want to give $50,000 to FELMAUSA for the get-go." I said, "Thank you." I told him, "Thank you." And that's something that's very elating, to say the least. It doesn't have to be Hawa Hawa doesn't have to be in the presidency to get that money. But he said he prayed, because he looked at her as a responsible person and somebody who already that is not going to be trained on the job like our opponent, because she has to be trained on the job, and we're gonna have people there who are going to start pulling her by the nose, telling her what to do, just as they did with Bill Clinton, call her and bully her, and because she's so desperate, as popular as she is, I don't know what desperation led her to getting rid of a brain like Bill Clinton from her campaign, but I'm quite sure she might have that opportunity too. But he talked about the professionalism of Hawa and somebody who is already ready for they want to move on. So that's why he's praying that, inshallah, if she wants, then I will. If she wins, we will go through that. So it's very easy, brother Kruma.
Okay.
If we all just do our part in this community will never fall behind.
Okay, all right. So here's a question for you, brother Bamba. I'm reading. There's a question from one Lai Kroma. Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
And the question reads, it says, when did you discover that individuals are filing separate taxes, and why allow it to come to this far without bringing it to the community's attention? And how do you plan to stop to such a practice under Hawa administration?
Well, Kruma, we just discovered that. I think maybe a month and a half ago or something like that, when Hawa started working on the federation taxes to make sure that everything is in tight. When we started having problems with the Internal Revenue Service, when the Internal Revenue Service informed us that this was going on and that was going on, what we're going to do has already been done. So nobody in FELMAUSA is going to file the federation taxes anymore as without the knowledge of the sitting president. It's not going to happen anymore. That mechanism has already been put in place.
Okay. All right. So I go back to something you mentioned not too long ago. I didn't want to interrupt you when you talk about how President Hawa Kroma will not prioritize medical mission, though it will not be abolished, but it will not be prioritized. Your emphasis will be on scholarship, education. So now one of the key differences I observed, between the two campaigns when I had the privilege to host them twice now for debate, was that Team Tuma, for instance, is much more interested in building infrastructure. When you talk about medical mission, they want to talk about building clinic. When you talk about education, they want to talk about building school. So versus Team Hawa, I think I heard Hawa say it's better to be grateful to the existing institutions, to renovate them, support them, and I'm also by extension offer more scholarship. Is that the case? Or there's some sort of consideration there will be some sort of consideration to include some of Tuma's suggestion when it comes to building schools or clinics.
Okay. Okay. You see, I had a notion.
Well, go ahead.
The same notion that the Tuma campaign has right now, I had the same notion that FELMAUSA should put a structure on the ground in Liberia. Okay? But if I told you right now that Hawa is the one that made me to get rid of that notion, I'm sure you believe that. Her counter argument to that was that, Brother Obi, you cannot put a structure on ground in Liberia when you are not financially secure. You understand what I'm saying? You can't put a structure down in Liberia when you're not financially secure. How will you sponsor that? So her desire is to make sure that FELMAUSA is financially secure. When FELMAUSA is financially secure and able to take care of a structure outside of the United States, then she will do that. But as long as she has not established that security for our finances, she can't do that. And she made reference to the so-called computer lab that was opened in Liberia by the Bamba administration. The reason why that computer lab could not continue was because FELMAUSA never had money. When Mr. Sise was leaving power, FELMAUSA had almost a negative balance, or maybe like $700 or less than $1,000 rather. Let me say that. So if you have $1,000, even though Mr. Sise claimed that he paid for so many months or whatever, or so many years, that's fine. But then after that, if there's no money in the account, what are you going to do? So, Madam Kromakone, first priority is to financially secure FELMAUSA, and when that is done, then before she can think about any structure on the ground. And she's not dismissing the idea of having a structure on the ground in Liberia. She has said that from time immemorial, that we need to have a structure on the ground in Liberia, but that is not my priority right now. We have to financially secure ourselves. Even you yourself, you want to take a project in Liberia right now, just because you get $4,000 to want to take that project, and at the end of the day, you look that you don't have no money to even continue that project. You know what's going to happen? You're going to start fighting people now who want to come and build on that place and whatever and this and that. And in Liberia, people have to understand there's also the law of eminent domain in Liberia. If you have a structure, if you can't improve it, the government has the right to take that place and give it to somebody. You know? So we want Madam Kromakone, first priority is to financially secure FELMAUSA. If FELMAUSA is financially secure, then we can undertake any project. That's what we want to do.
All right, Obe, I have a caller for you. Hold on, I have a fresh caller. Let's take this call. Are you there, caller?
Yeah, I'm there. My name is Musa Bamba.
Oh, can you hear the caller?
Yes, I can.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Musa Bamba, calling for Tennessee. I have a comment. First of all, I'm not interested in both candidates. And really, while Spokesman Bamba, if that's the case, you don't have no credibility. Because our sister, Tima, she was working the front end of with FELMAUSA, according to the past regime, according to Spokesman Bamba. And now you're telling me the president, I want maybe statement on the president, we don't know what they do our money, they go spend our money. So if our sister Tima say that way, the past governments will withdraw step back and resign. I think she did well. I think she's qualified on the Usman Bamba candidate. And also too, we have a strong voice. We have a strong voice with my uncle, who's very brilliant. My auntie, logic, pushing, that's not the best logic for the people. We want a humble person in our community. We want the best person to find our community with rural.
Okay, thank you.
And in past leadership, talking about Canada working at past leader. So we'll be talking about Canada credibility.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Did you get a question, Obi?
No, it was kind of like breaking up. No, I did not.
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure where the question part comes in, but I think I heard him say that if Tuma resign from a corrupt administration, then that means she did the right thing because at least she resigned, which is not the case, because there's no record of her resignation to the best of my knowledge. But somewhere I continue to hear him say that your candidate is not qualified, she's not the best person. The reasons given for that, honestly, I didn't get that either. That's why I asked if you were getting it.
Yeah, okay, it's good. That's the beauty about my family. It kind of, if that happens, another family right now, they don't even want to go speak to their nephew again anymore because he has a different political view about what you have interest in. So he's my nephew, and I respect his opinion. He has the right to support anybody that he wants to support. And unfortunately, the brother has no voting power. But you don't look down on people because you think they don't have voting power, but they may have influence over a delegate going to the ballots. So that's the reason why I don't look down on anybody. But what I want to tell the brother is that we respect his view, but I think he needs to keep himself abreast with FELMAUSA issues a little bit, because like you said, we don't have no record of Tuma resigning from the Kenyan leadership. And I don't think we have said that the Kenyan leadership was a corrupt leadership that Sister Tuma was part of. What we have said here is that Sister Tuma has been she irresponsibly held her position with the Kenyan administration. And we expected her, even if that would have been a good thing for her to do, to step aside because she was dysfunctional. And nobody wants to, but holding on to that position until the tenure expired, it was troubling. And to even see her going on that ticket again for the same position was more disheartening. That means she's even bent on damaging FELMAUSA more because you were dysfunctional from the beginning for almost 2 years, and then while you're sticking to the same position again, you want to go back for the same position. That's why they lost the election in Minnesota, because they could not do the people's job, because they felt that they could do anything and nobody will have to question them. You go to people and say, feasibility lie, but then when it's time for people to know what you did with the money, they say, oh, I'm not going to tell you anything. That's why we got to discourage in this community. And Sister Tuma has been part of that. And that's why we believe that she cannot lead Federation, and she's unable. She does not have the qualification. She does not have the knowledge to lead a federation like FELMAUSA, because she was given a tax for 2 years and she failed.
Okay. All right. So before that Brother Bamba call came in, I had just asked you, I just made a follow-up on the education and medical mission as well. So you were trying to explain as to why your candidate does not believe in building infrastructure at this time, because the federation is now financially solvent, and so now it's not the best time. But what about every time when I've heard the suggestion of building clinic or school, of late I've been a big fan of that, for the simple fact that a school or clinic will not only be a godsend or not only be a blessing to our people, but it also could be a fundraising mechanism. School makes a lot of money in Liberia. So do clinics. So have your campaign looked at it from that standpoint? That look, maybe the hardest spot here will be to put on the infrastructure, but as far as the daily management, the running and stuff like that, in a few years' time, the school or clinic should be able to raise enough revenue to to run herself under a good supervision, by somebody appointed from the FELMAUSA administration. Have you
Yeah, like I told you, Mr. Kumar, that's something that I was advocating for before, until Hawa took me off that track. Otherwise, my dream was, that's one of the primary reasons that I cast my vote for the Kenya administration, and even for the Mamadi Sise administration, because they promised me that we're going to have a structure on the ground, be it a community center or school or clinic for FELMAUSA. All these stuff that you have just enumerated, these are things that I did not even think about, but I just wanted us to have something on the ground, okay, in Liberia. But how could you have something like that on the ground when you have only $700 in your account from out of almost $6,000? How could you have stuff like that on the ground?
I guess not.
Well, okay, that's the reason why Sister Hawa does not want to prioritize structure on the ground for now until we are financially stable. So if we were able to generate like $60,000 or $75,000, let's say at our inauguration, right? Maybe she can say, okay, now, you know what, we're going to keep this money until we add it up. Maybe when the money, we push it up to somewhere like $200,000 or $300,000, because if you have a greasy bank account, I think it'll be people with, if you apply for a loan or apply for a grant, most likely these are recipes, part of the recipes that make people to want to give to you. But they go into your bank account, you got only $300 there. They think it's a scheme, But if you got enough money over there, if we push that, let's say we push that $75,000 out of $250,000, Sister Hawa could say, okay, you know what, we're going to take $100,000, or she or her administration could say, okay, we're going to take $100,000 out of this. We're going to buy our land, secure our land, we build a foundation. That's what I expected the Kenya administration to have done. I told him, Mr. Kenneth, you don't have to build a structure. Buy the land, build a foundation. If you build a foundation, leave it. 2 years later, you're not going to build a house, just leave it. Somebody will come after you. That person can pick up from the foundation level to roof level. If the person get completed within 2 years, we don't have enough money, we can leave it at the next administration that will come. We'll take it from roof level and put everything else together. And somebody come and finish it. You don't have to finish everything because 2 years is not enough. But unfortunately, that did not materialize. So this is the same thing. We have to be financially secure before we put any structure on the ground. We're not going to put FELMAUSA revenue in the ground that will leave it vulnerable for anybody to just take over it. It's not going to happen. That's what Hawa said. And I agree with her. We got to be financially secure. It is a kodamla and you will chiku. We'll look at Kiku, we'll look at Chele.
Yeah, so that's logical. That makes sense. So on that note, then, because one thing FEMAUSAs are getting accustomed to is the frequent pronouncement and calls for money. FEMAUSAs have been told from inception that the organization is broke. Even though we go to conventions, few days, few weeks after the convention, we'll be told that there was 60, 58,000, 50,000 raised. Convention, we don't have money to organize this convention. So under President Hawa Kuroma, how would FEMAUSAs know what are some of the sounds, some of the things that will indicate to us that the organization is now financially stable? What do we look for, in order to make those determinations?
The step has already started. Just by stabilizing our finances right now with the IRS and the banks, we're okay. So even if we get $500 in the account right now, that's secure. At least we know we got $500 over there that's not going to be squandered. And we have already said, Hawa has already told this community that this community does not have to always wait for us to come to them for money. We want to make FEMAUSA self-reliant. That is the dream and aspiration of Hawa, and that's the dream and aspiration of all of us on Team Hawa. And even down to our supporters, we convey this message to them. We want to financially secure FEMAUSA, and we don't want FEMAUSA to depend on the community. Even though one way or the other, we have to be interdependent on each other. But the community, we want to attract the people to FEMAUSA. So whatever money that we have, whatever way that we can generate money, when we do that, that will make FEMAUSA respected in the community. But you look at another watibe fisabilai or the laws will not finish. And that's the reason why, one of the reasons that we're not even so much particular about this too many chapters business, because sometimes too much of everything is just noise. The moment we start moving forward, chapters will start falling into place. Right now we have 16 chapters, 15 active chapters, but we have otherwise in total we have 16 chapters. There's nothing we can do if we do it collaboratively. There's nothing we can do. And how I told these guys that you, as a chapter state, you don't even have to depend, you don't even have to apply for IRS 501c3. IRS 501c3. You don't need to apply for it. Just use your FEMAUSA 501c3. That gave the Federation a boost. That's also some of the criteria that can help us get a grant. If you are part of this federation, you don't need no 501c3 on your own. You can do it, that's fine, but it is better that you use the FEMAUSA 501c3. That's going to boost the morale, and it's going to elevate the federation. And when that happens, when we apply for loan, there's a possibility, even if we don't get $100,000 or $100 million loan, there's a possibility we could get at least $75,000. That's a start. The next time we apply again, and somebody check our record that we applied for a loan and we got $75,000, there's a possibility we could get. It's almost like a credit card. If you responsibly manage your credit card, they give you a $500 credit card, and you responsibly manage it, the next time you go, you could get a $3,000 credit card. If you responsibly manage that, some people got $20,000, $25,000 credit card here because they responsibly manage it. And that is the same thing we're saying. We don't want FEMAUSA to be dependent on the community, even though the community and the FEMAUSA will be interdependent, but we want to minimize our dependence on the community. That's what Hawa wants to do.
Okay.
So she's not new. I'm not going to say, oh, this person, who is this Hawa Spokesman? She has never applied for grant before. We're going to dig into her background. No, it's already there. The information are already there.
Okay. All right, folks. Once again, we want to thank you for being here, and we have been here for almost 2 hours now, exactly. So time goes by really quick. So we'll be wrapping up very quickly here. So keep your questions coming. Questions, comment or concern, keep them coming, and I'll start reading some of the questions here. So we make the best use of our remaining time together. And also, sometimes, I believe next weekend, I will be having a couple of shows on my own solo. One of them has to do with the money I raised for FEMAUSA, $1,707 for FEMAUSA. the money Obe hasn't contributed yet. He says he has not forgotten. I won't be having a conversation about that because at one point I wanted to have a show like this, invite FELMAUSA Council, Executive Council, invite the board chair, invite President, invite Bamba, who sent me to the board to see if we could, present this money, to the FELMAUSA Executive Council. And what I've gotten a couple of calls, some people have jumped in to, provide some, good advices about it. I know somebody suggested, I should make the formal presentation at the convention. I'd almost considered that until something came up lately. So the latest suggestion now that I'm really, excited about gravitating towards has to do with making the presentation or submitting the money to would be the elected president, possibly at the inauguration. That's why I'm getting a lot of my advisors to suggest now. But I will have a show next week and I'll talk about it. Whatever way we can get the money in the hands of those that belong to, inshallah, we'll do just that. Here's a question for you, Brother Obe, before I come by to ask one of my own. So the question is, how do we know that the medication sent to our suffering people worth $30,000? Know that in this age of technology, one chooses to be ignorant. How can we fact check this information? You talk about how much spending $30,000 worth of medication recently. I think that's why this writer is referencing.
Well, Brother Mohammed Keller is one of the recipients of. I think he's the primary recipient of those medications.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Mohammed Keller, you can contact Brother Mohammed Keller, and I think Sister Hawa Spokesman had this stuff on her Facebook page. Mm-hmm. But if you want to contact any individual in Liberia, you can contact Brother Mohammed Keller, mm-hmm. and then you can ask him some of these questions. Mm-hmm. Those are drugs. Those are high-value commodities, high-value drugs. The HIV drugs is not for fun.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes one refill for some of those drugs are $800.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them that are chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So those are high-value drugs.
Those were the drugs then?
Yes.
Okay.
She had it on her Facebook page. Visit her Facebook page. If that's not true, if that doesn't satisfy you, then you can call Brother Mohammed Keller and follow from him.
Mm-hmm.
If any drug was sent to Liberia recently.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just an easy stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for addressing yourself to that. Folks, you can keep your questions coming. I promise I will read them, as I receive them. So there's something else that I'm a bit concerned about, considering the fact that FELMAUSA is going to need all of the money she can get, especially due to the fact that we're still having trouble with getting grant here and there. And then when you look at the convention that's about to start in just 2 weeks time, there's not a lot of potential for fundraising. Let's be honest, because of all of the activities that have been cut off.
Yep.
The traditional hour, the dance, and all of that, the soccer matches and all that due to COVID-19, unfortunately. But the Sekou Kenda legacy, if there's anything Sekou Kenda left as legacy apart from the 31,000 plus squandering. On the positive note, to his credit, he was the first president to have instituted and also deliver on this 30-70% profit sharing between chapters and the federation.
Mm-hmm.
But last time your candidate tried to flip that policy upside down, but for the betterment of chapters, though, I must add. So rather than taking 30%, from events, Hawa Spokesman, your candidate seem to suggest that the federation should take 30% and then the chapter state should take 70%, which is almost the reverse of how the policy was instituted to begin with. So do you have an idea as to how would that help the federation?
Well, the reverse 70-30 for the federation was for if an event is held at the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say an event is going to be held in the state of Minnesota, and FELMAUSA is going to, and that's going to be done in collaboration with FELMAUSA. So in that regard, FELMAUSA will take 30%, the state takes 70%. But if a chapter hosts the convention, then, like as it is in Georgia right now, the state will take 30%, FELMAUSA will take the lion's share of 70%. Okay,
for convention.
Yeah, for convention. But any other local event, or let's say FELMAUSA is taking an event to your state, it's not a convention. The state will take the lion's share, while FELMAUSA take the 30%. That's what she was saying.
No, but wait. Usually, unless FELMAUSA chooses to have event in somebody's chapter, but other than that, the only event that is usually jointly organized by the federation and the chapter is a convention. But if Minnesota decides to have an event, bring artists or whatever event, usually nothing goes to the federation because they don't have any input in that.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying. If they have to do a collaborative with the federation, that's just the way to generate money. It's like I have my event, and it was held. It was like as the convention. It was hosted in your state. And we did it collaboratively. It's FELMAUSA event. The convention is definitely FELMAUSA event. The inauguration is definitely FELMAUSA's event. So FELMAUSA will take the lion's share. So if you are hosting your event in your state and you're doing a collaborative with us too, we all got to chip in or do 1-2-1-2. Then the lion's share goes to you and the 30% comes to us. That's what she said.
And to her credit, I think I remember her saying too that the idea, the logic is that if FELMAUSA were to have such event or any chapter, the same way the chapter will be taking 70%, that's the same way the federation will look up to the chapter to underwrite 70% of the expenditure because the federation, you know what I mean? So it kind of balance this off right there, right? So I didn't remember. So anyway, here's another question for you from Aliyu Mende Keita, Minnesota. He said, besides the financial aspect of this federation, what other areas can your candidate, prioritize that can bring back this community unity?
Well, like I said, where is the disunity in this community? People should stop misconstruing or mixing disagreement with disunity. As in Minnesota right now, people will say, oh, there's disunity in the community. No, there's just disagreement in the community at the moment. Until we can be able to separate these two words, we're always going to be making a mistake. Because if you and myself disagree politically, and let's say you have a baby shower or you have a baby naming ceremony, I still come to your event. Or let's say, God forbid, somebody passed away from me, you're still going to come and sympathize with me, despite our disagreement. So that's different from disunity. So I just want, until we can do that, we will not understand. We will continue to mix the two off. So I think Mr. Keita need to work on that, and everybody else, because it's not just him. People think that when we disagree on issues, like we on Facebook now, like Vakabine and myself disagree on issues. Back though, Vakabine and myself have a conversation. We have a fruitful conversation. Like Al Jabate, who was Secretary General on my leadership as a committee chairman for the membership committee on Sekukene. We have a conversation. Sometimes we laugh about other things, despite him being on the other side of the aisle. So we have a disagreement, but we don't have disunity between us. When it comes to now, I'm not going to call Al Jabate again. He calls my mom, I calls his mom, I calls his pa, he calls my pa. We're not going to call each other again. That becomes disunity. But until then, as far as I'm concerned, but I have political disagreement. Usman Dore over there, my own Peking. He called me, I tell you, man, you're a political opponent. And we laugh about it. We have a different conversation altogether. We don't have to talk politics. But our disagreement stays in place. He supports a different candidate, and I support a different candidate. That's why it is. Okay. So I don't see the disunity. Until we can do that, I don't see no disunity right now.
Okay. No disunity is the message. Differences in opinion does not, cannot, should not amount to disunity.
But let's say Bill Mohammed from Dallas. I never supported his leadership or whatever he was doing in Dallas. But when I went to Milwaukee, Bill and myself sat down at the same table. We're sitting by each other on the couch, and we had a conversation because we were there for the same thing. We all went there to speak to Brother Muhammad Ability, who is now ill. May Allah restore his health. You know? Okay, so this agreement is unity ticketing. We should start messing it up.
Okay.
You know?
All right, folks. Once again, we are almost at the very end of today's broadcast. But somehow I got the feelings that there's some of you who still have things on your mind, and we'll give you the last minutes to get them out. Otherwise,
Mr. Kumar, I wanted to say this because maybe I don't want to stay there at the last because I wanted to do my closing statement.
Okay.
But I want to say it so that maybe somebody got something to say about that. Okay. You know, as you and I serve on the National Board of Directors, you know, and I'm privileged to be the board secretary. You know, and before we left, I wanted to say this. There are some things about this National Board of Directors that many of our brothers and sisters in this community don't know.
Okay.
So I wanted to outline the achievement of this board to the community because I may not have this privilege again. And so the community can know and that they can go with it. Number one, this board, some of you guys who has been vilifying or demonizing the board or maligning the board for your own political aggrandizement, I want you to know that this board has been one of the most successful boards in the history of FELMAUSA. You don't have to agree. The facts are there. You serve on the board, Mr. Kumar. If I'm mistaken, say no, Mr. Bamba, that's not it. I will respect that. I want people to know that number one, this board financially supported the Mamadi Cissé administration for the medical mission. Each member paid $100. And this is the first of its kind ever in the history of FELMAUSA. No board has done that. So this board that you always insult did that. And under this board leadership also, we have 15 active chapters out of 16. That has never happened before in the history of FELMAUSA, where you have 10 chapters and all 10 are active. No, that's not true. Under this board leadership, out of 16 chapters, we have 15 active chapters. They have their representative on the National Board of Directors and they come for board meeting. It's indisputable facts. And under this board, we were able to bring 5 of the breakaway chapters to the Federation who felt disenfranchised after the 2017 national election. We were able to do that. Out of 6 chapters, we were able to bring 5 of them on board. That was done under this board leadership. And this board was able to work collaboratively with the Elder Council and make sure that their voices are heard and respected in this community. That's something that has never been done in the history of FELMAUSA for the 13 years that FELMAUSA has been in existence. To make sure our elders are part of our decision making and their voices are respected. This is the board that gave rise to that. Many of you, my link, you disrespect this board for that, but these are things that you don't take into consideration. And under this board leadership, this board saved the Federation from collapse, especially after the 6th chapter left. This was done with persistence and commitment. We came together. The 6th chapter left the Federation with the notion that if they left, the Federation would crumble. But this board held itself together to make sure that the Federation stayed intact. And it stayed intact up to today's date. It was done under the leadership of this board. You don't have to agree, the facts are there. We want somebody to come and dispute it and say, no, that's not true. And this board, under this board leadership, we organized fundraising. We coordinated and organized fundraising activities to identify with the September 18, 2019 fire victims for the Islamic school in Liberia. And the board, through the collaboration with other brothers and sisters in the community, were able to raise almost $21,000 plus. That happened in this federation.
All right.
And you guys malign this board, you criticize this board, you call this board all kinds of names. these are things that you don't take into consideration. We have sleepless nights. And this board also secure the assets of the federation. Never in the history of the federation has this board this thing has been done, or any board leadership, or any national administration has done that to secure the federation's asset. Thanks to Sister Hawa for that. Our federation has always been left vulnerable. But alhamdulillah, Sister Hawa worked in collaboration with the National Board of Directors to make sure our assets are protected.
Okay. All right. I have a call on the line for you. Thank you. Are you still with me?
Yes, amen.
Thank you. Thank you. That's remarkable. As a board member, I've never been prouder. Now that you've outlined most of some of our achievements. I tell you what, I think we need to have another show sometime with Obe as a board secretary. Now that's how it can be. You got so many portfolios, so maybe we should discuss that after the show. But here's a caller on the line for you. His name is Kafuma Soare, calling from the great state of Michigan, U.S. of A. Mr. Soare, go ahead.
My question.
Hello, yo, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, my question is directed to Mr. Obe Bamba. Sorry for getting in late, but I just want to get some level of clarification on the issue of popular vote and delegate vote system. I think, from my own understanding, I'm not an insider of the organization. I'm just on the external level, observing things from the outside. But why is it, the organization is failing to embrace popular votes against the delegate votes? Because when I look at it from my own perspective, I'm wrong. I think most of those smear campaigns that are going on within the organization, if the vote is open in a way that everybody can participate, I think it will make the organization more efficient, and most of this smear campaign will go away.
Okay.
Any explanation I get from one of the ladies, I think she's part of the board, in one of the shows before her Mizu, somebody asked her a similar question. She said that why she put against the popular vote is because it's going to give an undue advantage to the hosting state of the convention. And to my own understanding, that is not actually a compelling explanation.
Okay.
There's way to get rid of it. I can say if a state is hosting the convention, that state should be ruled out from pretending somebody to wrong.
Okay.
So to call it short, if Mr. Bamba can give us some compelling explanations as to why the organization for now embraces the delegate vote more than the popular vote.
Thank you.
So that's my question.
Did you get a question, Obe Bamba?
Yes. First of all,
I'm afraid it's not your campaign related, but
thank you. Thank you.
Know, right? Well, you're here to talk about the campaign, but nevertheless,
nevertheless, because I don't want to get in trouble with the board chairman, because he's the official spokesperson for the national board of directors. So I think the borough just want to put me in trouble with my boss. But however, let me give you. I just want to say something, because having served as the membership committee chairman under President Kenneth, the reason, first of all, the reason why many people feel uneasy about popular vote is that if we need to delve into anything as popular vote, we need to establish a national data for each chapter state. That's what we were working on. We have to get a roster for each chapter state. If you don't have a roster for this chapter state, like register members of that community, and you open it for popular vote, you are opening you are opening it's like how you call it, a bomb in a rice cooker, because it will explode in your face anytime. You could be creating serious problem for yourself. Let's say, for example, in Pennsylvania, you go to the state of Pennsylvania, you say you want popular vote over there. Not everybody, many of the people that are going to come to the pool are not going to be members of LIMA. How can you control that when you don't have a database for those people over there? But if you have a national database, if you have a local database for the state of LIMA, then at least when you go to Lima, you know there are 5,000 or maybe 2,000 or 3,000 or 1,500 Mandingos in Lima. So you go over there, you know already when you go there, you're expecting 1,000 people to come and vote. Because when they come, you have to match their ID with their names before these people cast their ballots. But if you don't do that, now you're going over there, now you know what's up. I hope the caller will understand, will know where I'm coming from. But in the first, okay, that's just another problem. So opening a popular vote is not big problem, but for now it is a problem. We have to create that database for FELMAUSA. Every chapter has to have a database, membership roster. Every chapter has to have that. When we have that, then we can start talking about a popular vote. Number two, for me individually, I prefer us to depoliticize FELMAUSA. When we depoliticize FELMAUSA, some of these tensions that come out in the community, especially during election time, will be minimized to the highest degree. In a sense that, like I was talking to Baro Ishmael Kumar the last time, who serves now on the OLM board, I told him, is there any way that we can depoliticize FELMAUSA where we can minimize the tension during election time and make it look as like OLM? And he said, yeah, there's a possibility, but that's the conversation we have to start. And we have to start that conversation so we all can give our input. Because we have to depoliticize FELMAUSA. Well, that's clear. If we believe that, as long as we continue to miss disunity with disagreement with disunity, we need to depoliticize FELMAUSA. And when we did that, we have to bring in, like, we got 16 chapter states right now. We can get maybe out of 15 members or participant in the electoral process. We can say, okay, we just need 9 persons, or we only need 5 persons to lead the federation. And when we choose those 5 persons or 7 persons, those 5 persons will choose their chairman to lead the federation. You know, that would be popular vote. You know,
okay.
Yeah, that would be popular vote. So that's the first thing we need to do. When we do that, hold on 1 minute. So when we do that, we'll be okay. But until then, we can't have a popular vote because we don't want no trouble. We'll be fighting each other. We'll start cutting each other's throat because we don't have no national roster, locally and nationally. When all these states get a national database, the database, they can share it with FELMAUSA. And FELMAUSA can in turn share it with the National Election Commission. So the National Election Commission know what they're doing. Otherwise, you go over there, my brother, that's a serious problem.
Well, in the interest of time, we'll take I got another call on the line for you here. And this is KK from the great state of Pennsylvania. KK, you're on the line. Go ahead with your question for Usman Bamba in studio.
My question is this for the Obe Bamba, because Obe Bamba just confirmed that we have 15 chapters, but only 15 is active on the board. So can Brother Obe Bamba, since he the board secretary general, can he assure us that if we go to Atlanta, there will be all different issues in Atlanta, saying that this chapter is active, this chapter is not active, this chapter cannot vote because they are not active, they vote because they are active. Can he assure us, because he has already confirmed to us that active on the board?
Okay. Thank you, KK. All right, so Bamba, did you get a question?
I got a question. These guys continue to ask me bull-related questions.
Yeah,
But Keke, I do not have no authority to say who votes or who doesn't vote. And I want to let you know that when I say FEMAUSA has 16 chapters, yes, FEMAUSA do have 15 chapters, 16 chapters. But I told you initially that FEMAUSA has 15 active chapters. So that means one of the 16 chapters is inactive. They do not have a board representation. They have not been participating to FEMAUSA's affairs on the National Board of Directors level. That's what I meant. We got 16 chapters, but we got 15 active chapters. That means those people have their board members represented on the board, and those board members have been active since we left from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
But I don't have no authority to say who votes or who doesn't vote. No, I do not. And I'm not going to answer that. Sorry.
Okay. So, Bamba, congratulations. We got 6 minutes left. Inshallah, we'll be out of here. So, I got here's a question. It comes from one JMPs. He wrote, NYC, New York City so-called president refused to add some members on the delegate list in New York City because, let me open the rest of it. What's the rest of the question? Because he thinks those members who gave their support to Hawa. What do you think of that poor decision?
Well, like anybody, I'll give you my objective view on that. Like anybody, they will say, oh, okay, because that question is in my favor. But I'm not going to speak favorably because it's in my favor. The chapter president has the right to do what they want to do. They have the right to select their delegates. And if that brother feel disenfranchised, I think Onima has a board system over there. They could file their grievance through the board of Onima to make sure that whatever injustice that has been perpetrated against them can be remedied. But otherwise, I have no personal view on that. I have nothing general to say about that. President Sheikh Kadi has the right to choose whoever he wants to choose. If he feels that those that he chose, he chose them purposely because they want to vote for, they're going to cast their ballots for Sister Tuma, alhamdulillah, that's what he wanted to do. But otherwise, I hold no hard feelings against him. It is his right to do that, and it is the people of Nima who can change that. But I can't change that. So if that's what he did, alhamdulillah, let's respect his view. That's his position, and that's his right to do so.
Okay. Well, on that note, Brother Honorable Usman Bamba, an exemplary community servant. Let me say that servant _underline. Now I know there are a lot of people who despise community are one of them, but the fact remains, and I mean the fact with capital F, the fact with capital F starting with, remains that there are few of you in this community that I find it very difficult to believe that this community will go somewhere, will go anywhere without you guys' participation. Because you do so much for this community, you've done so much. By the way, speaking of so much, I forgot. I remember the last time you promised to give $100, I know some kind of money you're going to contribute to Sekou Kenya administration every time they submit a financial report on time. Whatever happened to that?
Well, that was not done. They didn't keep up to the promise. There was a fight about the financial report. I told them, and I still stood by my position, even down to the down minute, that if they made quarterly financial report, and I was going to contribute $100 every time they made a quarterly financial report, on time quarterly financial report, and that was never done under the Kenya administration. And we talk about it, and as you know, I was even serving on his cabinet. So, and Mr.
Obe, leave my question. I got 3 calls waiting online for you. Let's get to those questions so we can finish the show. Ali Keita, go ahead with your question. You're on live.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, my brother, my uncle, my father, Obe Bamba.
Good afternoon, sir.
and also of concern. You previously stated, and that's many people know in the community that disunity in the community, but looking at it critically, there's no disunity. If so, why is it that we don't know they say that when someone tries to bring issue on that you are the one who's always trying to bring confusion in the community? That's why we don't attack the Kaitukuno. These two do not coexist at the same time. Almost agree that there's disunity in the community. It's just the gravity of disunity we're talking about yesterday, but there's disunity. I don't want to say this, but there have been wild division of in this community. Let us agree to it. Let's work on it. Because unless we rectify it, that's the only way we are going to solve it. Let us know that there's disunity. The community is divided. I'm going to say this so that, and I'm going to live with this so it. It's happening in my chapter and it's happening on the chapter.
Okay.
Let us work on it.
Okay.
Rectify and work on it.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Obi, I'm going to take another call here. No, please hold on here. Hold on to that. Caller, are you there? Your name, where you come from? Are you there?
Hello, brother.
Okay, your number, King. I don't have your name. Well, the last question. Go ahead. This is the last question for the night.
I want to thank you for the show. It was a very nice show. Very informative. You know, I may have understood understand a lot of the things that we get from the beginning. My question, let me get to my question. My question is this to Obe. You know, the brother has called for Mexican not too long ago about, you know, opening the electoral process. That means one man, one vote. It's so complicated. I'm relating it to what the comment you read right now about the brother from New York. That is telling us that the president refused to choose on Sunday in fear of that delegate going to vote for Hawa. That right there is an issue, and it's a serious issue. And that contributes to whatever problem we're having in the organization now. Because that selection of delegates is not in the hands of member of the chapter. It's in the hands of the president. The president will be supporting a candidate that I'm not supporting. But if I have made my voice clear that this candidate is not supporting this candidate, my chances of being able to delegate is dead.
Okay.
What he's going to do now, he's going to go ahead and choose people that are in line to support that delegate. So what can Obe Bamba do after the election to put a step to that?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So now, thank you. Now I got lots of calls coming, but unfortunately I've been here too long. You are not calling. Now everybody calling. So unfortunately I'm not taking your calls anymore. You know, we've been here over 2 hours now. So Obi, go ahead. If you got those concerns, address yourself to them, and then we'll call you tonight.
I want to know what Barack Obama's question was to me. He said, "What can I do to do what?
What can you do to enforce this one man, one vote?" The court, when my namesake Kafumba called from Michigan and talked about, you know, this allowing everyone to vote versus this delegate thing. The counter argument she got from Bisu was not strong enough, was weak. So like Kumar is saying that the guy put the question about him not being included. Some people not being included in New York City for fear that they could vote for Hawa. That's a problem right there. You know, so what can you do? You get it?
What could I do? What could I do?
What can you do to change that? To institute this one man, one vote from your standpoint, from your level as a board secretary, I guess.
Let me deal with Kumar's question, since that's fresh on my mind. You see, maybe Barack Kumar and Barack Kafumba may be having misunderstanding me. I am not against the popular vote. I'm saying that if we want to do the popular vote, there's something we have to do first, and that is getting a database for every chapter. When we get the database for every chapter, then we can come now, and then we know what we're doing. At least we got a membership roster. We know how many Madingos in this chapter state. We know how many Madingos in each chapter state of FELMAUSA. then we can do the popular vote. So I'm not dismissing the idea of a popular vote. So, but whatever is being done by President Sheikh Kadi in his state right now is a recipe for disunity. I'm not also dismissing the idea of disunity in the community. But at the moment, we do not have disunity. We only have political disagreement. That's what I said. But whatever Sheikh Kadi is doing right now, it could cause problems that may lead to disunity. Sometimes disagreement do lead to disunity, but FELMAUSA is not at that level right now. We are only in disagreement at the moment. 2017, somebody could tell me, say, oh, we have disunity. I would have agreed because people felt disenfranchised and they did other things that could damage the federation. Those are all the result of disagreement. Disagreement can lead to disunity. That's a high possibility of that. So Sheikh Kadi action is very dangerous. And look, you guys still have time. It does not mean that the names that have gone out now to the National Election Commission are the final names. States have for now to the 23rd to change anybody on that list. They do have that right to do so. But like I said, you guys are deviating from the purpose that I'm here for and taking me to matters that I don't have the authority to speak on. You see? And now when you start speaking on these things because you have certain knowledge about it, you have certain experience about it, the first thing Ogale Usman Toure will start running around, oh, how did he know that? He's speaking for the election commission. How did he know that and stuff like that? You know, because I had Toure people can behave. You know, who are why am I saying what you do now? So do not carry me to electoral matter. If you have any concern like that, you can have that with the election commission. Sheikh Kadi need to work on these things, and you guys need to do it in a respectful manner so that it does not divide your community. I know some of you guys are hurt. I'm a Hawa supporter. You know, I bet you if this was on the other side, these people, some of my colleagues were going to be jumping behind you right now to push up fire to make sure that your community disintegrates. But that's not what I'm going to do. I'm just going to say, you guys have to act responsibly. Come to the table, have a discussion. You have from now to September 23rd or whatever, that list can be changed. You can have a dialogue, you can have a discussion on it. But nobody knows who's going to vote for who. Somebody could say right now that I'm going to vote for Hawa, they may likely vote for Tuma. Somebody could say now, they may likely vote for Hawa. You never know. So to stigmatize people and say, oh, this is eliminate, or factors support eliminate. FELMAUSA elections are very dangerous. You never know. If anybody had told, if you have bet President Kenneth in 2017 to tell him that you're going to lose the election in Minnesota, I swear to God, most likely he was never going to agree because of the momentum that was behind him. The election is very funny. You can't be overconfident until the result are announced. So you got to be careful. So you guys just need to act responsibly and solve the problem over there. But for now, the Hawa campaign will call for you for caution, you know, because being disunited, the disunity is now going to help us. It's going to push us back a little bit. So I hope President Sheikh Kadi will listen to you guys because the election is going to be finished. And when the election is done, these are the people that you're going to live with in your community. And you don't want anybody frowning on you because of that, you know. So just do the right thing. If that's what you choose, it's your right. You can do that. But if you want to come to a community that is divided, or at the end of the day, after election, that will be your choice. You know, that's all I can say to that. On the issue of Brother Keita, I thought he was.
I think your last statement also kind of address Keita's position too, because
but he said something personally. He said something personally about me. That's what I wanted to address.
Oh, okay, all right.
I wanted to address that. He said, I think he said people say that I contribute to the problem in FELMAUSA and whatever, something like that. Maybe I'm misquoting him, but Mr. Keita, if you can send a text to Kafuma to correct me, I'll be very glad. But I think part of that. But let me address those people who say these things. I'm not hurt by them. And I have my friendship with people. But like I said from the initial stage, you want to be friend with me, you got to do the right thing. because you can be my friend. Once you do the wrong thing, I'll go against you. I don't really want new friends. I like my old friends. I can tell you that for sure. I like my old friends. People that like new friends, because what transpires between you and your old friend, when you get a new friend, you will start talking choo inside. That's why I don't like new friends. So don't say because I'm friend of Obi, so when I do the wrong thing, he's going to support me. No.
Okay, you told Keita to send tests to correct you. He just sent tests. A message on the show. He said no, he did not say that. He did not say what you just said. So that's not what he said.
Okay, but let him correct it.
If he didn't say that, alhamdulillah. But other than that, to a larger extent, the point you made in addressing the York issue, the difference between disagreement, and disunity, we kind of get that out there. Just because we differ now, in terms of who we want to be president, our views, opinions, that the divergence of it that cannot amount to disunity, as in unity. So I agree with that. In the interest of time, Obi, I think I'm going to just ask you a closing remark. I also want to state that I'm almost on the verge of getting the election commissioners to come on the show, because the election is in Georgia, and very soon they will be up. The most of these issues will be on their lap. They have a lion's share of issues resolution here. As far as dealing with issues. I want to bring them to tell the community what to expect. Where to stand on certain issues, so there are no surprises, right? So, and I think I might be able to get them on. I can't tell you when exactly, but before the election, I'll have them come on. But one thing I know off the bike, they're not coming on camera. We'll do the old-fashioned style teleconference. Do that
that's better.
So I don't know. So that's what we're going to be.
Ibrahim is a very difficult guy to deal with, so it's very hard to catch.
Yeah, I know. So I'll let you make your closing remark, Obi, and then we'll call it a night here. We'll call it a day.
Okay. So let me just say this. I just want to tell Keita that I'm not going to disindividualize him. If he believes that disagreement is disunity, or disunity is disagreement, so be it. But when we disagree, because I know very well that I'm not supporting Sister Tuma, it doesn't mean that she's not my sister. She's my little sister, and I respect her. So whatever we do now is disagreement. At the end of the day, if we step out of line in certain ways, she might show her displeasure to me as a big brother, or in certain ways I might show my displeasure to her, and that doesn't mean that we are disunited. She could come and say, "Oh, big brother, I'm sorry for the election, whatever transpired. I'm sorry, I apologize." We could knock it off and move forward. That's not disunity. Disagreement. People will say a lot of stuff to each other. At the end of the day, they iron all these differences. And to those who think that, when you talk to them, they say, "Oh, Bro Obi, you this guy, you always part of FELMAUSA problem. You always part of FELMAUSA problem." I challenge all of you guys. None of you have ever come out to say, "Okay, this is the problem that you guys created in FELMAUSA. This is what you guys did to damage FELMAUSA." Nothing. But we all depend on myth to say, that dollar there, how do they didn't want to create a problem in FELMAUSA? And do you know that this is one of the primary reasons that some of these guys are going to vote for Tuma, or going to vote against Hawa, even though they say back door that she's qualified to lead this federation, and they look at the future of FELMAUSA bright in her hand, but yet they're going to do that. They say they're going to vote against me. You can go and do that. You're not voting against me. But
Obio, in fairness, if you truly believe that there are folks who are going to vote for Hawa vote for Tuma against Hawa, for the simple fact that you are affiliated with Hawa's campaign, and Hawa does not want to entertain the idea of laying you off like Tuma lay Bill Clinton off. So why don't you do the honorable thing? Why don't you resign from our campaign if that will bring her victory? If that will bring her vote? Must you wait till she asks you to leave? If you believe that your being there is going to take vote away from her, then why don't you step aside?
Almost 3 times I made that offer. Almost 3 times. Chairman Solo is one of the witnesses. Hawa herself, Hawa Umpa, she did not even wait for me to even ask. She refused, point blank. Borolai Toure was one of those witnesses. Borolai Toure said, "You're not going nowhere. We started together, we're going to go down swinging." Hawa, I didn't make the request to her. She said, "Bro, Obi, you're not going nowhere. Don't even ask." Chairman Solo said, "It's not happening. We started together. You guys started these things and we came on board and we're not going to let you go. If anybody wants to support us, let them support us. If this campaign has to go down the drain because of that, let the campaign go down the drain because of that." Those people that are making that request, they were not even support us anyway. They never made that request. You know what with the Kenneth campaign?
No.
Ask Mr. Kenneth. 2017, I told him, I said, "Mr. Kenneth," he said, "Yes." I said, I'm not going to partake any official position in your campaign. You know you got my vote because my vote is one of the clearest votes in FELMAUSA. The candidate know that I'm going to vote for them. If I'm going to vote for you, I'll call you and tell you, I'm going to vote for you. You ain't even got to run no campaign with me. Nobody runs campaign with me. I told Mr. Kenneth, I said, "Mr. Kenneth, you know my vote is for you, right?" He said, "Yes, okay. Don't worry about finding a slot for me on your campaign. I'm not going to be attached to your campaign." And I never did take any position on Kenneth's campaign. Same thing with Mama D. Sise. Mr. Sise, you got my vote. I'm not going to serve on any position on your campaign. Even the fundraising that took place at the barbecue in the park over there in Brooklyn Center, I never stood in front of the camera. I still gave him my vote. But the Hawa Kroma campaign, this is the first campaign that I've served on. This is the first campaign that I've taken official position on. So some of you guys who going around lying and saying that, "Oh, you were part of this campaign, you were part of this campaign," you're lying. I never. The Hawa Kroma campaign categorically refused to let me go. So if we have to go down the drain, because they said, I am not the campaign and the campaign is not me. Everybody is an asset to the campaign. Why let you go? For what? I said, well, if the campaign will get victory because of that, so let it get a victory. I can go. And I don't even have to go peacefully. You can even announce that I'm being fired. I'll be fine. The campaign said no. They're not going to do that. And I think that's an honorable thing to do. Because somebody just doesn't like somebody, and then you say, "Oh, I'm not going to support you because of that." I am not FELMAUSA, Mr. Kroma. If FELMAUSA is elected, it's not Obi that is being elected, even though I'm going
right. I guess we can look up, both sides of this issue though, because I'm sitting here wondering, okay, well, if Hawa Kroma and the rest of our campaign team did not want to let you go, but they also were not willing to maybe reposition you from being the face of the campaign, the spokesperson. That we can make that argument on one side, but on the other side, I think I can see where Hawa comes from, which will be there's something, the slippery slope, right? So let's say today Obi, they have problem with somebody come and say, "We'll not vote for you because you got Obi." Now, boom, you got rid of Obi. Then what next? Then they come and say, "Okay, you got to get rid of this other person." Where does it stop? Yeah. So I guess I see where Hawa, from where Hawa comes to say, we're going to stand our ground. We're not going to let people separate us, because at the end of the day, those who will vote for us unconditionally. They will look at our achievement, our qualification, our CV, and all, and the whole 9 years, opposed to individuals, personalities. You know what I mean? So I know. But
people don't understand. The point is, if someone wants, you can demonize me any way you want to. I'm okay. I've been there. I know what's up. But if you did that, don't forget to know that, like, let's say, for example, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was an asset to the Tuma campaign, and he has his supporters. He has his admirers. So if you get rid of Bill Clinton, do you know what you're doing? There could be a chain reaction. There are some people now who were fully supporting the Tuma campaign, will not support the Tuma campaign because Bill Clinton was let go. So if Hawa was going to do the same thing and say, "Okay, you know what, I'm going to get rid of Brother Obi because he's too much of a liability. I'm going to get rid of him." When the campaign, because I never did anything. Let's say if I had done something, I was engaged in some kind of scandal, and I'm still attached to the campaign has the right to distance himself from me. Just as in the case of Reverend Jeremiah Wright and the Obama situation. Okay, the Jeremiah Wright and the Obama situation, Jeremiah Wright made some anti-Semitic remarks. Okay, and the Obama campaign was compelled to distance itself from Reverend Jeremiah Wright from Chicago because he was a liability. He was Obama did not want to sideline his Jewish voters. Okay, but here is Bill Clinton. He didn't say anything publicly or engage in any kind of scandal for you to ask that he be removed. But just because you don't personally like the brother, you say they must get rid of the brother. And because the leadership is approved by the nose, boom, they got rid of the brother. So same thing. Hawa said, what did he do? Oh, he's a polarizing figure and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Well, you can do whatever you want to do, but you're not going to take it from my mouth because I'm going to go down swinging. And this campaign is going to go down swinging. I am grateful. I am grateful. Even if it was me, I would never get rid of the person as long as that person was not engaged in any scandal. But for somebody personal disagreement with the person to say, okay, no, we're going to get rid of this guy and we're going to remove, I know all of them. All those that made a request, I know them. I talk to them, I laugh with them, I joke with them. I don't hold anything against them. That's one of the good things I like. That's one of the gifts that Allah gave me. We can have a disagreement, we can have a fight. I don't call a speech for you, no problem with you, because you don't want to talk to me.
Okay.
So these things happen. People need to stop. That is the message. If you like you saying that when does it stop? Right. If you have a problem with Brother Kafuma Kruma, go and deal with Brother Kafuma Kruma as an individual. Do not inject that into the community. Do not inject that into your family. Me and my friends, we clash. Mr. Kenneth, Dollar, and myself, we clash sometimes. We call a speech from each other for a few days, or few months, or few weeks, but it never reached the family. Sometimes my wife will not even know that I'm pissed with Dollar or pissed with Sekou, or Sekou is pissed with me. And, you know, but we come, we face our stuff, and that's it. Because we don't want to bring our family into our situation. Because when we're solving that problem, nobody else is going to be there. So why will you have your personal beef with Kafuma and then you bring it to the community and say, oh, fuck it, you know, I don't want him there. And people need to stop that. So you don't have to like me individually. I don't have to like you individually, but we are bound to respect each other. That's the point.
Okay. All right, Spokesman Obe Bamba, I think you've spoken well. I don't believe, I'm not sure if this, is there any area we did not cover? So is there anything that I didn't bring out that you would have very much loved to put to rest?
Well, I don't see anything for now, but at least we most of the stuff, and I think this is the last time any of these guys going to see my face again talking about the Hawa Kruma campaign, win or lose. I'm not going to be the face of the Hawa Kruma campaign after today, inshallah. After the election, let's say.
There you go. After the election, I'm going to say, give it on your post too early. After the election. And so I'm going to keep the Hawa campaign team little video, the little banner you sent me. I'll keep it here in my little queue, because I don't know when the campaign will be paying me next to have another show, because the next time it has to be a pay for show, pay for event. So any final word from you, my brother, Uncle Lovely, Uncle Leo always say your final word. Any final word from you?
I just want to tell you thank you very much for giving us the opportunity, and your show was very interactive, and I hope I just pray for our sick people, our brothers and sisters that are sick in the community, that Allah grant them speedy recovery, restore their health, so they can join us. And our brothers and sisters who are deceased, I pray that Allah rest their soul in peace and grant them paradise. And I pray also that we, those of us who will be going to the convention, that Allah protect us, guard us, you know. Kamo tanga boyfe masbama, kamo tanga boyfe fitinama, kamo tanga waya si toroyama, you know, and carry us in peace. Kamo yuma safe and anikotuno, you know, kasote na mata amora for anikotuno, you know. Allah la dinye mo penye, Allah mo bela kana, Allah la jafu mo bema. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب صل سبحانك ربي ذات أحمد يصفون والصلاة والسلام على الأنبياء والمرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, folks. Thanks to all of you.
Hawa Kone Oye. This is your own boy, EJ. I'm back with victory for Hawa Kone. Hey, we are voting. Hawa Kone. Take our brother, we are voting. Hawa Kone. Unku Ente, we are voting. Hawa Kone. For you empowerment, we are voting. Hawa Kone. Hey, we are voting. Hawa Kone. That's it, we are voting. Hawa Kone. Community people, we are voting. Hawa Kone. For you empowerment, we are voting. Hawa Kone. Hey, we are voting. Hawa Kone. That's it, we are voting. Hawa Kone. Community people, we are voting. Hawa Kone. For accountability, we are voting. Hawa Kone.
All right.